Hello and welcome to another exciting episode, a Halloween extravaganza part 2 of Never a Straight Answer, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm Gaz.
I'm Taylor.
Taylor's being tortured in the dungeon of the Never a Straight Answer bunker.
I'm quite enjoying it.
He actually loves it. He's fucking up on the rack at the moment, getting his nuts stretched. Yeah, so this is,
there we go.
Oh yeah, it's back in the room. Yeah, so this is our part 2 of our Halloween extravaganza. It's like kind of like the third Halloweeny episode we've done.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been good. We got some really good feedback on the Enfield Hauntings episode. And I think everyone really enjoyed it. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed doing the research on that one. It was quite an interesting topic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but there's still quite a lot to talk about on.
Yeah, and
a
few people have kind of suggested a few kind of like documentaries and books to have a look into as well.
Yeah.
And there was kind of a few questions about the hauntings and the brothers and all this, and there was a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah,
but anyway, I do go on too early because we've not yet to introduce. We've got Mikey in the studio again today, as well as Taylor, who joins us.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
Yeah, so we're gonna
Jay in the corner.
We've got Jay in the corner as usual.
Yeah.
The bodyguard looking
watching our back.
Just in case anything, no crazy stuff goes on.
Make sure I don't abuse them.
Yeah.
So it's been a really good week for the podcast, though. I've got to say, and I've been really pleased with the support that's been coming over the social media as well. So cheers everybody for like just being supportive and.
Keep supporting us and we'll support you, man.
It's good. I mean, we're enjoying it, so we'll keep cracking on with it. But has there been anything happening this week?
I've got a few little shout out at the beginning here.
Oh right, go for it. Yeah. You said you had a little shout out, so go for it, man.
I'd like to shout out happy birthday to Mike.
Mikey,
a couple of days ago, wasn't it?
Yesterday.
How old are you?
What are you now? 42?
31.
31.
Old.
That's it.
That's like you've passed.
I know.
He's
You're
passed
still
the
pretty
threshold.
chicken, man.
He's passed the threshold. Would that be one of those half monkey, half chickens?
Yeah, the ghostly one.
The ghost, half monkey, half chicken ghosts.
Yeah. You just can't touch it.
Yeah. Anyway, we digress. It was like we had a bit of an inside joke earlier. So did you do anything nice?
No, I went out for tea today.
That's decent. Yeah, nice. Go out for some tea and on your birthday and that. It's always nice to treat yourself on your birthday.
I did the shopping for my mum and dad.
You not get Red Dead?
Oh, yeah, I got it yesterday.
Oh well, you got that. See, that's a
Red Dead out
yesterday, wasn't it? So everybody on my friends list is just absolutely smashing Red Dead at the minute, and I'm just sat there going.
I just can't wait for it to get online.
If anybody out there wants to buy me Red Dead, I'll just send it to PO Box. No, I don't even.
I need a Red Dead.
I will set up a Kickstarter. Gaz needs a Red Dead.
Yeah, no, just put it in the fund and we'll get the Red Dead out of it.
The fund. He says. That's cool. When we have a fund, we might have a chance at that. So so you say there's been a few, but actually there's been a few really weird, actually quite serious things happening in the news this week, haven't there? I mean, where are you up to? Have you got any stories? You tell me what you've got, and I'll tell you where I'm up to because there's been quite a lot of.
There's been quite a lot. Yeah, most definitely. Well, I heard yesterday that there's a lot of conspiracy sites and stuff like that are putting sites on risk, being at risk, because they've turned around and basically said supposedly in America someone has come out and said something's going to happen in 90 days.
Okay.
To be prepared. So these sites are basically saying,
I
don't give no money to us.
I know that America at the moment have been having early warning tests, haven't they?
In
quite a lot of different states.
Yeah.
So that makes you think, well, what they're just testing everything. Yeah. But on the other hand, why they've been having a lot of storms as well? So could it be something to do with relating to the weather?
It could.
I mean, have you got any more information on what it is, or is it just a case of that they've issued a warning?
Well, there's bit that. Well, at first there was a warning.
You said something quite interesting. Is this that where a lot of people have given up like their Patreon funds and stuff like that?
Yeah, basically the sites have said like, don't give us any cash. Any cash that you're willing to give to us, put in to getting food and water.
Food, water, supplies.
Yeah,
that sort
and it's
of thing.
like, hold on, what, why? And they're putting their, well, I suppose their truth online here at the minute, but there's quite a few of them.
Well,
there is
people don't part with money very like in that respect, very often. So I mean, what do they know that?
Well, they know that in July this year, that every government agency and councils over in America got an email, stating that something had to be done within 500 days. Or what they're calling it is the 482 days till something happens.
Right.
So now people coming up with like there's pictures of the
vague.
Yeah, it does. But there's also been every state has to have done a nuclear test. And they
have been recently.
That's coming up where the deadline is.
Okay.
So it could be that. It could be that, and that nothing's actually happening. But there's something going round. There's a lot of excitement.
There's electricity in the air. There's
helicopters, Black Hawk helicopters. There's been stuff happening like troop movements and stuff like this.
It seems that there's always a bit of a build up to something, but then
nothing
goes. Ever happens. Yeah. So I mean, could this be like kind of preparation in terms of what's going on in the world with other countries? Like they're just preparing themselves for kind of a war situation, or could it be something that they think something more is going to happen, like an impact, or because we know we do talk about like these conspiracy theories and Nibiru and Planet X and all that sort of stuff. I mean, there's been a lot of this weird stuff going on. I mean, I'm starting to think it could be.
Well, this is it. Well, if you think about it, it's been there all through history, but it's been hidden all the way through history until the 1800s, I think it was.
Well,
they were doing.
Get on there,
coming out
episode 10 if you want to learn more about the Planet X.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
It was a brilliant show.
But I mean, in terms of like the preparation that they're doing, it does seem like they're building up to something. It seems like they've got all the kind of the underground spaces sorted.
This is the thing, when I've been watching these things,
what do you do?
The faces are showing that they know there's something wrong. They're trying to tell people and trying to save as many people as possible. Right, well, first off, if it's a nuclear one, it's more than likely, it would be lucky if 1-2% live for so long and then die off anyway. If it's a comet, right, well, there's 3 comets on the way through. Between us and the moon.
I think one of those.
So that could be a possibility.
One of those is like, I think I was talking to our kid about this the other day, and I think one of those is like not gonna come all that close.
All 3 of them are gonna go between us and the moon.
Yeah, that's it. I think I think one of them's like thingy, but like that pumpkin one we've talked about, that's only passing, isn't it? And then there's another one that's going to just kind of like.
But any force could actually move.
Well, this is what I was saying as well about kind of like if you believe that model of the universe where they say it's a blanket as a cloth.
Yeah.
And you've got the sun in the middle.
Yeah.
And then you've got like the sun's like weight is kind of making an indentation in the cloth, and then say if you got like a tennis ball and rolled it around, it'd kind of keep going round the contours of the cloth, wouldn't it, until it kind of fell into the middle.
Until it lost.
Now if you've got another system going in another orbit and that interacts, then it's going to warp the cloth. Do you know what I mean? And even if it doesn't impact, it's going to have an effect. And then now there's everyone going on about pole changes and pole shifts, and that could be a catalyst for that.
Proof there.
I don't know.
There's proof that the pole shift.
All conjecture, all theoretical at the moment, and you can't thingy, but it's like.
Don't be scared from any of this because it could be absolutely bullshit.
It's crazy that there's that much kind of information from. Because apparently this whole Nemesis system was very very prominent in the 80s. Everybody,
Yeah,
a lot of
84
scientific
it come out,
journals were like
basically
really like
journalists come
bigging it
out.
up as a major player, as a theory. You know, as this it's actually happened.
And that was when the major book come out as well, and then professors and that were talking about it. But then all of a sudden, after a couple of weeks, bang, shut everything off. No one's talking about it. You couldn't even find it if you were having a look on the internet. Bang, nothing to be there. So that just gives conspiracy straight off. That what's going on there? Why have you hid it straight off? Where is the hidden information, and what is the hidden information?
Fair enough.
But then if it is Naboo that comes round, well,
Naboo.
you know, yeah, if
it's the island of Naboo Boo.
If it's as the likelihood that most people would be gone and it won't matter anyway.
That was an actual bit of a meta kind of thing. Yeah, I didn't realise in the island of Naboo Boo. I just put a little meta joke in there, which I didn't realise of the topic for tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the island of Naboo Boom was the island that they wanted to get to in Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Oh right.
Yeah. And as we all know, Bedknobs and Broomsticks was about a witch.
Yes.
Yes. I'll leave you with that. Just have a think. Potentially you might guess what tonight's topic is.
Yeah.
But yeah, any more news?
Well, yeah, the White House. This is another weird thing. This really is. The White House has just thrown out its budget for 2019 for the Planetary Defence Office. Now, usually it is 60 million a year. Yeah, that they put in.
This is the budget. Yeah.
Yeah. And every year it's been roughly, so they haven't been taking it that serious. They've taken it a little bit serious, showing that they put money on the table, but from 2019 it's going to go from 60 to 150 million. Now that's nearly double the amount.
It's a big leap. That. Well, what?
There's been questions about it. Why have they all of a sudden decided to do this? With all the stuff that's going on at the minute, I mean, there's even earthquake warnings at the minute around the planet on something going on.
Yeah, actually, I saw that. Like, they put warnings up about kind of potential tremors and stuff
but
like
they
that.
put it down as crisis.
Then weren't you saying something about that, Mikey?
Right.
It was we were talking about the fracking, weren't we? What was that? Yeah, because there was a bit of a tremor.
Yeah, there's been a couple of tremors.
Yeah, there's
since
been several.
They stopped fracking and then started again. And
This was in
tremors.
Yorkshire. Where was it? In Yorkshire.
Blackpool, wasn't it? Blackpool.
Well, no, there's a new site, and I can't exactly remember where it is. Is it Suffolk or somewhere like? I can't remember exactly.
Posh area.
It's a bit of a posher area, but it's like they kind of do this on like. Is it? I assume it's like Greenbelt or National Trust land.
Yeah.
Roll in. And the other day there was they've like I say they've just opened this new site, and there was a tremor on, and it registered on the Richter scale. They closed down for the day.
Yeah.
And then came back the next day and said, "Oh no, we didn't feel anything."
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they were closed down. They were closed down 7 years ago because of the tremor, and the tremor was 0.5.
Yeah.
But now it's 0.8, and there has been a little more tremors. How much information do you fucking need to
They know
common sense in and
that
go,
it causes.
that is
They know
doing
that it causes quake, like tremors and stuff like that.
That's
At the end of the day,
at
the end of the day, it's what they're doing is they're looking for pockets of gas.
Yeah.
So they drill into a pocket of gas. As soon as that pocket of gas is expelled, then what's that? It's creating a void, a vacuum.
Well, they throw water in there.
Oh, yeah, but that's not going to...
But that's only going to make the ground softer, so the top part will collapse onto it.
They think they know it all, they don't know it all. They do know it all, but they're not bothered.
Stupid, that's what they're being. Yeah. They're being money-hungry hoes.
Money-hungry hoes.
There we go. I've said it, I don't care. I've said it, they're money-hungry hoes.
Right, and if we can get hashtag hoes...
Yeah.
Money. If we can get hashtag money hoe, we'll get that one going. Do you know what? Right, we got Spunked going for a bit, right. But every time I click on Spunked on the hashtag to see how it's doing, see how many, if we've had any others, it comes up with quite a lot of quite untoward things.
Oh, right.
Even on Twitter, I was. Do you know what? For Twitter, I didn't expect to see that.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So if you're bored and hashtag. Keep that hashtag going. So what we got in hashtag spunked and hashtag what?
Money hungry hoes.
Money hungry hoes. Yeah.
Right, hungry hoes. Yeah.
It's some money hungry hoes.
Definitely. Well, these meteorites, basically to stop 25,000 meteorites at the size of 460 feet in size, but we have a little issue of 140 million asteroids that are smaller that can still do damage.
Yeah, because this is it. But this again. It's like, would you know, think like if there's debris and stuff like that, they usually have tails and like more debris that follows them. So you know, it's like if there's a big meteorite, it stands to reason there's going to be a lot of little ones there. But like you say, then most of them will be like little smashes. They'll get burnt up in the atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh, there's another thing. Right, there's another
problem. If we've got an atmosphere.
Yeah. Now, apparently, one of the launches from Falcon, yes, from SpaceX, had put a 550-mile hole in our atmosphere.
The Falcon X did?
Apparently so, according to officials who are looking into the incident. They didn't realise that how much damage, the way they taken off and gone through the atmosphere, it broke the atmosphere.
How have they been using like some sort of an alternate fuel? Or?
Well, look how they've been flying off. They haven't been flying off how a normal rocket would fly off. With all that big spray behind it.
Yeah, it's usually a big plume of smoke and fucking like a
But it didn't last that long. It lasted a couple of weeks.
So are they using an alternate fuel? Is that what it is?
That might be the reason why, but there is still an investigation on.
No, that's the first I've heard of that, actually. Yeah, I'll have a look into that.
Late last night.
Right. Well, like I say, it's been a bit of an epic week for news, hasn't it? I mean, I've got loads of stuff, but kind of I'm letting you take the lead on the news this week because all the news that I've got is kind of Halloween related, and I kind of want to go into that.
Well, so yeah.
Well, I've actually got one here.
Go for it.
This is a bit of a weird one as well because it's like, right? Do you know when you've got Facebook? Yeah. And you've got marketplaces on Facebook now, and you can pretty much buy anything, can't you?
Right, yeah.
Right. Well, what about a lion cub?
Lion cub?
An actual baby lion cub.
Born in England or born abroad?
This was actually in Paris. There was a lion cub found in a child's bedroom in Paris. What? Yeah. Where did that come from at all?
What did the mother say? Or where did it... No one knows where it's come from?
No one knows where it come from. It was just discovered in the bedroom.
Zoos, anything like that?
It's escaped from somewhere, or they've stolen it from somewhere. No, I'm not saying they stole it, but it's been stolen.
That was dinner.
The lion was seized from the apartment.
I'm not surprised.
After it was put up for sale on social media.
So that's why the police went round, because it was up for sale.
Well, I'm not sure if they found it in the bedroom, the parents have found it, or
and then they're saying to sell it.
It's been found in a bedroom by the authorities.
Yeah,
because they put it up for sale. So I'm assuming but this is the way media works, man. They make it out like it's
hard when it should be nice and simple.
So like a lion cub was found in a child's bedroom. Yeah. Right. And then the fact that they put it on the social media for sale makes me think, well, the parents found it, and then tried selling it.
Yeah, that's what I'd think as well.
Or did they steal it, tried to sell it on the thingy, and then it was discovered by the authorities in a child's bedroom?
Yeah, but what are the authorities doing in the child's bedroom?
Well, they've gone in because they've put it up for sale on Facebook.
Yeah, I go with that.
Yeah.
I'd say that, yeah. Gilly is charged.
Where do you reckon they've got a lion from?
Taylor's Law.
Nicked it.
It's fucking a bit weird though. That how'd you get
it delivered?
You'd miss it though, wouldn't
you?
you?
We're talking about exotic pets. I mean, there probably are places.
You ever heard of the darknet?
I reckon you could buy a lion if you tried hard enough.
I'd say if it was from
you paid enough money.
You'd miss
that'd be the only problem, getting the money, because you're not the one who's delivering it. They are, so they've got the issue, not you.
Yeah.
So you're paying them to make sure that item gets to you without any problems.
Yeah, that's true.
And if there's any problems, send it back.
Well, I like little lion cub myself, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they've got to be one of the endangered species soon.
Yeah. So
if it carries on the way things are going on, with that and the amount of animals and the way the climate and that, even though it's not fucking climate change.
Is it not?
No,
we'll save that for another day, I think. Yeah,
still affecting other planets.
That's a debate and a half, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole climate change. Just for a show of hands.
Waffle.
In just a show of hands, who believes in climate change?
No.
Not one.
I didn't believe it from the start.
Not one person in the bunker have put their hand up.
That much carbon in the beginning of the 19th century, and then we slowed it down. There was no issue.
Obviously, there's going to be effects, but it's like I've always said about the natural cycles of the planet.
Over the thousands of years we've had, like, we were talking about it today.
About ice ages and stuff like that. And like,
it's a planet. It's a
as well. It's like they're saying about Antarctica and how like these like flash frozen forest underneath it, which suggests that the continent was frozen rapid.
Yeah.
So that makes me think that there was a pole shift. So where Antarctica maybe used to be was on the equator, and then after the pole shift,
Brazil. They reckon it was Brazil next.
So next it'll move, and that'll get flash frozen. But like you were saying about weather systems and how it'll kind of keep travelling round and freeze the whole planet. So it's like
we don't want the snowball effect.
Well, no one ever said an ice age. It was cold. Do you know what I mean? And then I think these studies that shown that actually during ice ages that the weather was quite nice.
Yeah.
It was just that there was that much ice, it just couldn't melt. Do you know what I mean?
I think we're more likely to get floods than we would ice because of the temperature. Since 1900s, the temperature's gone up 1%. You know what I mean? So it's just a case of like, by 2021, the temperature will be up, but maybe another. But if we ain't gonna work together, there's no point doing it.
Yeah.
Because when we ain't gonna work together, we ain't working together. All these peace treaties and all that are worthless. Yeah. Absolutely worthless. If China can do as much as they want till 2020, and we can't do. We're lowering it down. It doesn't make it when we're not 1%. They're putting on 2%, so it doesn't quite work right. And other countries are doing the same. But that's because of the greedy corporations who are fucking holding on the ideas of like, You know what I mean?
They've got him by the bollocks.
Yeah, basically they got us all by the bollocks.
Well,
fucking hate it, the wankers.
Is it anything?
Put a spell on the cunt.
Put a spell on him.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. That. We could have actually, but we
could have. We should have.
No, this is it. We missed an opportunity there. Well, basically, we'll go into what actually happened, right? So the events of this week shaping this episode up.
Yeah.
We had a few change of plans. So firstly, the episode was going to be about
a ghost hunter.
Well, we actually had an interview with a ghost hunter lined up, a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
Right, and we were going to model the show around a ghostly paranormal topic, I suppose.
Yeah, discussing issues
as well as kind of having a main topic as well as the interview and a few other bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But we got let down on the interview. She actually was somewhere else. She couldn't make it. So it meant we had to change things up a bit.
Yeah.
So we were going to interview a white witch.
Yeah, which was
up until this afternoon. So we've been again rushing around trying to get the episode right, and then she was.
Someone put a spell on her, I think.
I put a spell on you.
Yeah. So, I told her to put a bit of witch oil on there, A
bit of witch hazel, get a bit of rub a bit of witch hazel in.
And see what would happen.
Have a cleansing, love.
She may come back on at one point.
Get yourself a lemsip, have cleansing,
Well, they have have a whiskey there.
Yeah, we're sorted, right? Yeah, we'll hope she gets better anyway and she's able to come on. But, so unfortunately we've not got that interview.
No, I know, we were so looking forward to it.
I thought I've got all these questions here. I thought I might as well ask yous. So randomly and inadvertently, I'm going to just stop you and ask you questions, I think.
Ask away. I will give you my honest
Do you want one now?
opinion. You know what? Yeah, go on then. You might as well.
Ooh.
Throw it at me.
Oh, right. Well, you've got a choice now because you could rather have a question for a ghost hunter or a question for a witch.
Oh, right. Now, at first we were going to have Ghost Hunter on, so let's say we put the Ghost Hunter on first.
Okay.
Ghost Hunter question.
Okay.
Give it to me.
So this is a question that I would have asked the Ghost Hunter, but obviously they're not here, so...
Yeah.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Wait, hang on.
Hang on.
What equipment is required for a ghost hunting? And if you had to make a basic list, what would it include?
A lemon and banana. A box of chocolates and a rose.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what
you
would
try
they-
and sweeten them first.
Obviously,
And then
yeah, you don't
obviously,
want you-
if they're not going to come here, then you get the banana and the orange and you fry them.
It might have been ages since he'd had a good bit of fruit.
Well, yeah,
Get a
you
bit
know
of
what I mean.
vitamin
Yeah,
D.
well, we're looking a bit peaky. You know what I mean, a little white. Where it might have been the powder that had been thrown over him or whatever. But yeah, I think that'd be my answer. What do you reckon, Mike?
Missed a question.
Oh, right.
Tell him.
Question for the ghost hunter
Yeah.
was, what equipment is required to ghost hunt? And if you had to make a basic list, what would it include?
It includes an EVP, which is
What
you record the voice on.
Right, okay.
Then it'd include a temperature gauge, your digital one. You shine it, it tells you drop in temperature.
Right.
And then,
Does it have to be digital? Because I would have thought it'd been a bit funny under digital.
no, infrared, an infrared one.
Okay.
Well,
Reads the temperature.
I actually wanted to start it. I hoped that if she did come, that we'd have like one of those sort of like connects, because I've seen a few good results on
Connect?
those.
What Connect for?
You know, Connect like for the Xbox.
Yeah.
The old Connects.
Oh,
Ghost
yes.
Hunters are using those because you get those like line figures.
You get infrared off it,
Yeah, there's a lot of different settings on them, and they do use them for all types of stuff.
That's a
I've seen a
good
lot of
idea,
developers
that.
using
Yeah,
the
we
Connects
take
for a
the
lot of
decent
things.
A bit
talk
clever, that.
with extra batteries, because paranormal
We gotta have
activity
extra
ghosts
batteries.
have been in the past, been there.
That's
Well,
what I mean
I'm
about digital, about
I'm
impressed,
they
Mike.
bounce and
And a
mess
camera
about.
as
I'm
well.
impressed, Mikey, on that one. Well in.
Yeah, I think my answer was right.
I think Taylor's answer was
Yeah,
pretty much on the money.
Yeah, I'm on the
They
donut.
use a camera as well.
Oh, yeah, obviously, and it would take
Infrared-
record or that
infrared
type
camera.
of
They
thing.
use a couple of cameras. They
Yeah.
use a video camera and
Temperature.
then they take photos as well. Flash photography is also known for paranormal.
Yeah, well, basically anything you can get any
But they don't
evidence
use
of.
a digital, a modern digital camera. They use the old.
Why,
Well,
if they're using a
35
digital
millimetre.
symbol, if they're using a digital temperature gauge, why not done?
Because the old cameras are better for old film, and that
Yeah, I
is
can
better
understand
for
that, yeah.
capturing
Yeah.
spirits.
There
Yeah, I
you
can
go.
understand
Because
that.
the digital one, you could say the images are blurred together.
Yeah. I'm totally with you on that one. Totally with you
Oh,
on
there
that
you
one.
go. That's.
Well,
Well, that was a good one.
yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I really, actually,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to throw out a couple of these questions throughout the
Yeah, no
show
problem.
because you know we don't want to let them go to waste. I worked a bit hard on them. So,
You're right.
you've got any
someone's
other
got the
news
giggles in the
before we go
corner.
on to the spooky Halloween news?
Yeah, I've got one more.
Go for it, man.
I've got one more serious case, which it's
A serious case of
Yeah,
the blues.
serious case of-
of the blues.
12 people getting
Oh
bombs sent
yeah,
to
is this the pipe bomb
Yeah.
thing? So this is mental, man.
Hillary
because-
Clinton, Obama.
Not that I give a
It
shit
was
about
like,
Hillary Clinton.
The first one was George Soros, 2 days earlier. Then the Clintons, then Obama, then like ex-CIA directors and FBI directors and like.
It was
fucking
basically
judges,
people who were against
MPs.
Trump, weren't it?
Yeah,
Anybody who
basically,
had something
including
against
CNN.
Trump. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's.
But have
it's-
you seen the pictures of the fucking device? Right, first it's a pipe bomb. With a pipe bomb, you don't have a timer on it.
Right. Well, I don't know anything about bombs or anything, so
you wouldn't have a timer on it.
Well, you
don't
wouldn't.
need-
It would
no.
be like just like
It's a case of it's gone.
Yeah.
It goes off.
Well, yeah, really, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a case that you can't have a timer on it. And if it had the timer on it, it'd have to be so precise on when they picked it up and opened it up. Now, no one's going to be that fucking clever. You know what I mean? So
From the story I gather, it was like 12 of these devices had gone out,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
not one person had been injured.
yeah,
Nothing
because
had
it
happened.
won't work. Have you seen the envelopes as well? It come with
No.
stamp. It hadn't gone through any.
So they must have
thing.
been hand delivered.
Hand delivered, yeah, and they had a so-called ISIS symbol in the corner, but it actually
Yeah.
wasn't. It's not their flag. It was a flag of something that one of the papers took the piss of years ago.
Oh right, so it's like a
So
kind
it
of a
didn't
mock-up,
actually
a
mean it,
mock
yeah.
sort of
So-
like a spoof.
Yeah. So basically, myself and a lot of other people, actually quite a lot of people, have a look on Twitter, are saying that it was the Democrats or those who are against Trump who were trying to force.
Like yeah,
You know, I want protection. he'd turn around and say,
like scare tactics.
Yeah, basically.
Trying to scare him into
because they've
kind
got
of
the
doing
primaries
what they
in
want
2
to do.
weeks. In 2 weeks' time, they get.
So do you think Trump's got anything to do with it?
No, not at all. Right, I'm surprised they actually caught this. The man, he was a 50-year-old man that they found in Florida, in Miami. They got his van. His van had like stuff all over it, but saying stuff like "we hate Hillary, we hate Obama" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Don't go against Trump and stuff like this. But like, there's still more to it, and I'm still with a lot of other people stating that I think it was bullshit.
So what, you think it was the Democrats?
It's deliberately. Yeah, think of it this way.
So was it somebody? Do you think it was just like a rogue Democrat who was just somebody who's interested in the party, or do you think it was somebody involved
He's a patsy.
in the government?
He's the patsy.
But you think it was orchestrated by the Democrat Party?
Not necessarily the Democrat Party, but I think like the swamp that Trump's trying to clean. They're on the way back because they're shitting it. They've lost a lot of things. A lot of people are coming out about stuff. So they're losing their fucking power. So now, how are you going to get back at him? Now, if you get back at, like, people are going to be talking about this. So then that's going to possibly disturb the Trump election MPs from getting in the right area.
Right.
Because they could turn around because they're sick of Hillary as well.
Oh,
the Democrats want Hillary away from him because she's doing nothing but causing
shit. It's just a fucking circus. That's the way I see it. And they just need some actual politicians who are, not media money grabbing whores.
Yeah. You said it right. Yeah. I mean, if you were if you were an ex-prime minister, or a big part of the government, and you're getting letters, you're going to go through a process. Especially in America, you're going to go through a process because of such terrorism and because of the anthrax coming out in the early 2000s and stuff like this. That they're going to obviously have them going through a room before they actually go to the place
and that was big. That was big news.
And that's where they found it.
That's crazy, because when the anthrax thing happened, that was big news. Because it was like people like getting, and it was like high-powered people as well, wasn't it? Getting anthrax posted.
Clinton was one of them.
Clinton was one of them, and it was like, well, that was fucking news for ages.
Yeah.
But we're living in a fucking day and age now where you get fucking pipe bombs sent to an address, and it's like, it's not really even talked about.
Well, when I was talking about the 500-day thing, or the 90 days we're supposed to have had. Could this be, to me, this could be another way of saying, look at this, don't look at whatever.
Oh, there's always those types of diversionary tactics going on in the media. Of all that, And considering the media is virtually owned by the fucking
the six big incorporates,
then they can basically distract you with whatever.
That's it. Distraction
and then pull the strings on the other things that are happening in the background. So
Well, like I've said before, look at the small print, not the big print, because the big print's what they want you to see.
Just don't look at that. Look left when they want you to look right. Zig when you want you to zag.
Man. Always look around the box and everywhere around the box, not directly where they want you to. Obviously, have a little peek.
Have a peek around the corner.
List, mate.
The snatch list.
They'll take you now.
Oh.
Now he's cottoned on.
Come on, fucking take me. Alright, I'll take you on.
I've cottoned on to this shit. Ages ago, no one snatched me yet.
No,
anyway.
But now we're live. We're telling the people, rise up, people.
Well, moving on. We're gonna move on now to the Halloween spooky news. Oh, we're actually Halloween. It's Halloween week, and it happens to fall on a Wednesday this year, which is a bit shit.
Well, because the extra will be out there.
Because nobody wants to go out on a Wednesday night for Halloween, so that means. Does that mean that
weekend's going to be trouble?
Halloween parties are all going to be happening at the weekend?
Actually, right? 2 weekends, because it's a midweek. You could have it at the beginning of the weekend and at the end. So you got 2.
Well, you get 2 Halloweens. You're the official Halloween, but then the party time happens when you've got the day off.
Just party on, babe.
Well, there's actually been a petition. Thousands have signed a petition in New York to change the date of Halloween. What do you think of that?
Why? What's wrong with the old Halloween?
Well, a group called check this out, right? A group called the Halloween Costume Association wanted to change the date of the holiday to the last Saturday of the month every year, as basically because
they'd have to change it around the world, not just in England.
Yeah.
well, they're trying to say that it's a health and safety standpoint. So they're saying
Health and safety. What the?
Listen to this. The group reckon that there are over 3,800 Halloween-related injuries a year.
Oh,
Right.
so because we changed the date, no incidents is going to happen?
Well, it means that it's on a weekend. It's like it's always the last weekend, so you can kind of like be a bit more.
Hey, fuck that. The people want the 2 weekends where they can fucking have a little
rush hour.
Right.
People aren't travelling home from. They're talking about like. Right, you get
shit.
your kid dressed up in a Halloween costume. The last thing they want to do is put a high vis on. Yeah, over the costume that they've worked hard to do, or store bought or whatever.
Well, it actually depends on where the area is. I mean, the areas where the kids should be allowed to go around should be lit up maybe a couple of days or that beforehand by the council or the people or the mums and dads, so they can see, and so can the traffic can see.
Well, I think it's more that parents should be accompanying the kids if they, because I mean, kids who do trick or treat nowadays. I mean, it's like when we were kids, you do it.
Yeah.
And like, but it was like you get a few quid out of it. Nowadays, I think it's just sweets. So,
And then you've got gangs on the side like where I'm going mugging when he comes back after he's had them or them chocolates from that old house over there.
So it's like I think they're trying to make it safer, but they're just taking the fun out of it.
Well,
Halloween's the 31st of October, and it always has been.
Cameron should have took
You're messing with tradition.
Halloween is the start of the pagan calendar.
Exactly.
So you can do the changes.
The way we come into wearing masks is because the pagan god
change the sun and the
used to
fucking
snatch
moon
children,
then. That's the only way you're going to do it, mate.
and they used to wear the mask to hide from the pagan god.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right.
I give you that.
Well, talking about kids' costumes and stuff like that, there's actually been they've been failing the health and safety tests according to the Independent newspaper. A number of costumes sold on the high street are failing fire tests. The company which
oh my
tested
days.
20 children's Halloween outfits, and they were stocked by.
Of course, they're going to have massive standards, aren't they? Because they've got the proper costume.
Well, these are all companies like Sainsbury's, eBay, Amazon.
To be honest, do you really not expect this to happen?
Not surprised.
It doesn't surprise me.
Only two actually failed.
Material.
Only two actually failed, and they were like from abroad company. They were like made in foreign countries where they don't have the same standards as we do.
There's no issue.
And one of them didn't actually have the EC mark. So but they were sold on places like eBay. So you can't.
Well, this is it. People will buy. People need to get money, so they're buying shit. Especially now when they're going to start forgetting. Same at Christmas, same at Easter, same at fucking Halloween, everywhere.
Well, I think they're just kind of like urging parents to be a bit more cautious. But
why are you
dressing the kids up in? To be honest.
Yeah, but this is the funny thing about
how
society's
shot with a rocket.
Up.
Because the kids are all out there with the rockets and fireworks and stuff. Actually, no, they're not, because when I was a kid, there was a lot more than that. And they have made it a lot more difficult for kids to get fireworks.
But then you've got to blame two people then. The corporations that make this shit, that are not safety regulated, and cheap shit. And the government for not letting the people have the money to spend on the getting proper stuff instead of going out and have to get in the cheaper stuff, because all the rest is going on fucking council tax, fucking bills that don't need to be there, instead of it being like the old system of you can't have it over 10% of your wages can't go any further in your house, basically. So you get your rent, everything paid for, and you've got money there to spend. No one's got the money now to spend because of all this fucking the government fucking things up as usual.
I'm going to stop you there.
Go for it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Go that. I'm asking. Yeah, go.
This is from the witch.
The witch.
Yeah, this is a question that we were going to ask the witch. Do you cast spells, curses, or incantations? And if so, why? And for what reason?
If you're asking a white witch.
No, I'm asking you.
Well, I don't cast spells, but there's black magic and there's white magic. Black magic is your curses, your voodoo.
That old
and
black
white
magic.
is like just helpful. You use your magic to help people.
Yeah, they believe in the earth and like nature and things. It's always going when you were saying about paganism and stuff like that, and it does come down to like nature, and we're all kind of.
Yeah, but come on, you don't have a great day unless you squeeze a frog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to squeeze a frog every now and again.
Isn't it? Do the witches not turn
Kick a
people
dog in
into
his bollocks?
frogs?
No.
You know what I mean?
Oh mate, no, don't.
No,
because
witch.
There's a lot of. I've been doing a lot of research on witches the last couple of days, and there's a lot of kind of things about dogs.
Dark magic.
Yeah, like hogs and dogs.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they
we
keep
used to have
coming
hogs,
up.
didn't we?
Hogs and dogs turn up quite a lot in the witch tales.
Right.
They do,
So I don't know.
Well, yeah,
Some-
I often
some
do
witch-
love spells
some
on.
witches have been known to.
You do, yeah?
Yeah.
Some witches have been known to, in the past, the myth goes that the black witch has been known to summon the hellhound, which come after you and
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's actually true.
drag you to hell, basically.
Or the Mothman.
The Mothman.
Well, he's around anyway.
The last bit of Halloween news I've got before we go into the entertainment news, which is Halloweenly entertaining this week. I don't even know if that made sense, but last bit of Halloween news is have you heard of this is he the court justice guy in New York? What's he called?
Oh yeah,
Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah. The guy who was falsely accused of assault and I think he had 7 charges against him. The FBI investigated all of them, and all of them were, according to the FBI, false cases.
Right, okay.
So, this guy's had a rough time lately, just because he was a Republican.
Well,
Trump wants to get him in so they can actually pass laws.
He's probably going to have a worse time now, because a group of witches have gathered at an occult bookshop in Brooklyn on Saturday to cast a spell on Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
Well, what else they can fucking do to him now after they've done all
they're
that?
saying it's about free speech, but there's a
free speech goes too far sometimes.
Well, Father Thomas, who's like a kind of he's a
witch hunter.
No, he's a kind of a vicar or reverend, I suppose.
Right. Okay.
Right. So he's called Father Thomas, so I'm going to assume he's some clergyman.
Yeah.
Right?
Priest.
He's told the National Catholic Register that this is not this is a conjuring of evil, not about free speech. So he thinks they covening in that bookshop, and doing some evil stuff. Now,
well, prove it then.
Well, no, but this is it. It doesn't take much, and this is what we're going to go into in tonight's topic, because tonight's topic is the witches. We're going to look into the Salem witch trials, and the madness, the madness that goes into this, and like how people get swept up in it. It's like a frenzy, and like I'd almost say one of the first instances or recorded instances of something going viral. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like sweeping.
Well, no, actually, I wouldn't. I'd say
not
the plague would have been the first.
Yeah, no, but that's that's the literal
reckon,
sense of something going viral. I'm thinking like an idea, an ideology, like in terms of like accusations.
No, Bible. The Bible. There you go.
Okay.
That beats it. The Quran. That beats it.
All right.
Yeah. There you go. See.
In terms of
brains.
Paranormal. Then.
Paranormal. Yeah.
Right,
I'll go with that.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, anyway, so he's what do you think about this free speech thing anyway with this Kavanaugh guy?
Well, I think they need to leave him alone now. He's been investigated. He should have free speech. Everyone should have free speech. But the thing is,
I think he's probably. It's like, what are they doing? Are they casting like fucking curses and hexes?
Yeah, no doubt they've done it.
Well, that's
spell
just.
and that.
He's not going to have it easy then, is he? He's going to end up fucking stubbing his toe and falling down the stairs.
They're probably not witches. They're probably
burning
just
his
bitches.
eggs.
They're not witches. They're probably bitches. That's all they are.
How do you know?
Moaning.
And this is what I was wanting to kind of establish with this kind of this medium, because I wanted to find out a bit more about it, and try and find out if it was anything genuine, because they always kind of have these sort of links with like the occult and seances and seeing spirits. And I kind of wanted to find out a bit about that. So, yeah.
Yeah, but you could, you've got all sectors like that, because you've got like in religion, dark and light religion. Religion.
Yeah, and there's always that balance, isn't there? And that's what I was going to say to ask, because, in my opinion, and it's like, if you look at it in like the new Star Wars, right? No, I don't go into Star Wars, but like, if you think about it like Star Wars, right?
Yeah, you've got Star Wars, but just not the way they're doing it.
The way they're doing it at the moment, they're using this sort of, they can't be really on the dark side, and you can't really be on the light side.
We're giving it a little grey area.
Kind of be a bit in the middle, a grey area.
Too many grey areas. That's the only problem.
Well, I think that's what you need to be a fucking balanced human being. There's no such thing as being 100% good and 100% evil.
Well, no.
Everyone's got a bit
of yin and yang, man.
Everyone's got a balance of both.
Yeah, the yin and yang.
Yeah, so it's like if you claim to be a witch, then surely that's the same thing. I mean, it's like someone going to piss you off. And you're going to go, I'm a white witch, but I know how to do these hexes and spells, and I'm going to cast a spell on.
Then.
And the guy who's cut me off at the supermarket or whatever.
Do black magic.
Yeah, but he might be a black witch, or he might be a grey witch.
That's what I'm saying, a grey sort of middle ground that doesn't
mind
doing
a white witch,
a
but
bit.
she dabbles in a bit of voodoo and that, you know what I mean?
She knows how to do it, but she just doesn't do it very often, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe she's just practising to getting at that art.
Yeah, so there's all these questions that I wouldn't have minded asking, and especially now I've been doing the research into this.
Playing with
Salem.
stuff that we don't really know and don't understand properly.
Well,
like a lot of things.
Well, we won't waste any more time. I'm going to do the entertainment's news. And this is the Halloween entertainment's news. And I was saying about not very many films being out at the cinema over Halloween this year.
No, there hasn't.
I was like, absolutely have to go back on that, because I realised Simon Pegg's new film.
That looks alright actually. Is it 15?
Yeah, but
it
actually looks quite funny. I mean, it's
looks a bit like
Simon Pegg, Nick Frost are back together in that.
Good, they're a good combination. Then,
it's out on the 31st of October. Where a British boarding school goes a bit kind of weird, and a lot of horrors ensue. So I don't really know much about it. I think with these Simon Pegg films, generally, they basically they kind of have a twist, don't they? Whereas like in Hot Fuzz, I didn't expect the serial killer. So I wonder what's going to happen there. So
yeah, there's got to be them two together again. They're a good combination and good way of their film, and they do keep it in a certain way that no other people are doing. You know?
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate though that it's not Edgar Wright directing, because it's like they make a good trio. Edgar Wright's the guy who's directed the Cornetto trilogy, so like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. He actually directed Spaced as well as.
Oh right,
Shaun of the Dead and stuff like that. But he did Baby Driver.
Baby Driver,
yeah, he directed Baby Driver.
Oh right, yeah.
So it's very kind of
Driver.
Good. It's good film that actually.
Yeah, I haven't seen it all the way through, but that's because I just haven't had the time. So.
Do you remember Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's on that Melissa and Joey now or something on E4. I don't really watch it, but like
it's alright actually. I've seen the first and second series, and I thought it was alright. You know what I mean? But
well, she was kind of like iconic from our youth, I think.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, she was always she was always the kid celebrity.
Sabrina. Sabrina.
The Teenage Witch.
Sabrina, like when the cat Salem and she lived with her aunties and stuff
like
that. Right.
Yeah.
Well, they've done a reboot. Of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Can't be the same girl.
Yeah. No. They've got a new actress in. And Sabrina was on Nickelodeon, wasn't it? I think. Yeah. So it's been given the Netflix treatment. Right? Which means it's going to probably be a bit more spookier.
Yeah,
it's going to be a bit like Stranger Things potentially.
More money's been poured into it, so it will have some good credit.
It's going to be kind of like a dramatization of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
So what is it, a film or is it
I think it's a series, and they described it as quite spooky and it's a darker spin on the show. You know the story.
A bit like
she goes to live with her aunties who are both witches. I hope it's better than Buffy the Vampire. I didn't really like Buffy the Vampire, and most people are going to crucify me for that. But
naughty boy, especially this time of year.
From the clip though, it comes
it.
across as she's the outcast witch. They're all evil witches, and she's the kind of good.
So she's the good witch.
Yeah.
She's the white witch.
Yeah.
Who's trying to change herself and trying to sort a group out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we were saying last week that Halloween 2018 was out.
Yes. Yes.
That's still at the cinema. If you want to go and check that out, because I think it's like it actually looks quite good, and I've heard some pretty good reviews.
I haven't seen much reviews on it, to be honest.
Well, I listen to a few podcasts where they do talk about movies a lot,
right,
and like they do like full episodes about a breakdown and that.
All right,
so,
good.
I heard some good things. Trying to go for those non-spoiler reviews if you're going to go there, because like you don't want to go on a podcast and you get halfway through and the drop in major twists and stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Try and find non-spoilers.
Yeah, definitely.
And last bit of haunted entertainment is a recommendation we've had from Jay and a couple of other people. All said it was supposed to be good. It's the Haunting of Hill House, and it's supposed to be a sick, twisted drama on Netflix. And has it
just begun that?
I think so, yeah.
Right.
So it's the Haunting of Hill House,
right.
And that's out now. And it's like I say, had quite a lot of recommendations.
Yeah.
So go and check it out. It's quite good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the entertainment news.
We're gonna have to get a tune in between or something.
No, well, I said that, right, and then I've been told that wasn't a good idea, and we shouldn't have jingles.
Why?
And I shouldn't go all Tony Blackburn on everyone and go like, "Hi, pop
Why? He was a legend, man.
Well, no, it's like, just it is what it is, fella.
Well, it is.
You know what I mean? No, I'm saying. So,
don't touch it if you don't if it's working.
So
don't need touching.
Anyway,
tweaking a little, but not touching.
So what do you know about the Salem witch trials?
Oh, I know a little bit.
You know a little bit. So go on, give us a bit of.
I know that a lot of the people that were involved was you've heard of we brought in one of the shows before about the 13 families. Well, one of them was called the Collins family, and the Collins family.
I don't bring up the Collins family once though. That's where I want to know where they fit.
Now,
because you say this about the Collins, but I've never seen them. Bro.
Yeah, you won't, because the Collins family have been sort of wiped out of history.
So they started, what were they called something
basically
else? What were they called?
The Collins family started it. Started the actual
the witch hunt.
The witch hunt on this situation, basically.
Well,
now to get back at certain people. Now the names weren't Collins because the names were changed.
Now there is a family that I believe were kind of manipulating. There was a family in this that were manipulating the situation, right?
And yes.
Now I'm not going to say because I don't know if you want to track that back once I give you the info.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's worth looking into. So you're saying the Collins family had something to do with it?
Yeah, basically, because they went out of history. Basically, they were the part of the 13 families that were controlling the 300. Basically, that controls the Illuminati, the Cabal, the other groups. Basically, works out in that kind of system.
Do you think that was going back as far as the 1600s as well?
There's written documents to state it. In fact, and the 13 families are basically the ones that are doing all the control and everything. But they all, a lot of them went quiet, and it was to take them off the market so they could do what they do, and no one else would need to know about them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting to find out about it, but I was surprised. But yeah, go out. I mean, check out Edge of Tomorrow. They did the bit on that, and they give more
YouTube
information.
Channel, isn't it? Yeah, I've watched a couple of their
videos.
It's
a good YouTube channel. Yeah.
Do you know anything about it?
Not much about the witch trials.
Well, I didn't really. I mean, I've heard about it, and then I'd known that it was kind of like a bit of a kind of a hysteria to it.
Yeah.
And there was, but there is quite a lot to it, and I mean, I'm just trying to get through it because there is.
I know, in the women in the witch trials, women was pursued if you was intelligent, you was a witch. If you knew So
Well,
you spoke
Oh no, because the witch trials were actually going on from the 1500s right across Europe.
Yeah.
But what was happening was there was many reasons why people were like being accused, and there was kind of women, and it was funny because like you were saying about white witches and dark witches, there was actually white witches didn't even really consider themselves witches. They called themselves like well, not even Wiccans. They called themselves like like not a haggard lady, but like like a lady who they'd go to like a shaman or
like a witch doctor.
Like a witch doctor,
right?
Yeah, but they didn't really call themselves that. They kind of were like
like the fixer. Come and see the fixer.
Yeah, like they'd help him with sort of social issues or anxieties or like herbal medicines, that sort of thing.
So she was like doctor, counsellor,
and a lot of them were using ruins and charms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they'd kind of do these chants to kind of help fertility and crops. And it was all kind of like quite mellow, right? You did have your kind of your dark witches and stuff like that.
Of course, you're gonna have good and bad, aren't you?
Obviously, because like we say, there's sort of like a balance, and some people gravitate towards like, and you get nasty people and you get good people, right? So whilst the witch trials started to begin to fade out across Europe by the mid 17th century, they did still occur in parts of Europe and across the American colonies. But the events in 1692 to 1693 in Salem was a brief outburst of panic and hysteria, and one of the earliest cases of something going viral as far as I can see. So
over 200 people were.
So the Salem witch trials occurred from February 1962 up until May 1693 in New England, Massachusetts. More than 200 people, like you say, Taylor, in and around Salem Village. So there was a colony in Massachusetts, so it was
basically take the lot, you're all witches. Basically, we're going to take the fucking lot of you, and you're going to have to be innocent.
It kind of happened like in that, in not so many words.
It's like a tribe taking over another tribe,
and it kind of comes across really weird because like you've got like these Puritans,
weird stories, weird stories.
It's a sort of like a really sort of religious village as well, so you wouldn't have expected. Well, you kind of do and you don't, but we'll get into it.
Because you're going to get some people in the dark arts like we were saying.
But
yin and yang.
So like I say, 200 people from Salem Village and across and the surrounding areas were accused of witchcraft. And 19 would be found guilty and executed by hanging. 14 women and 5 men for the crimes of being a witch.
And that was all on the evidence of I seen him do this, I seen him do that.
Well,
basically
actual physical.
Well, no, it was C-say. I seen you do that, so someone else has seen you do that. You're guilty.
Well, in Salem Village on February 1692, Betty Paris, aged 9, and her cousin Abigail Williams, aged 11, were basically at home. Betty, the daughter, and the niece, respectively, was Abigail. Were relatives of Samuel Paris, who was like a kind of a reverend in the town.
Oh right.
Like or like kind of one of the people who lived in the town who's a bit more respected. Right. So what had happened was, so these girls started coming down with weird behaviour, and they were kind of having like epileptic fits.
Right.
But when they'd been checked out by the doctor said that they didn't know what was wrong with them. Then he said it was basically beyond the power of epilepsy or natural disease. So in other words, they didn't have a clue what was going on and what was wrong. And
I don't think they knew epilepsy back then.
But you got to think this is the 16th century, so like you say, this diagnosis was like delivered on ignorance and no knowledge
basically,
whatsoever.
I see this and this, right, I reckon this is it.
But all they knew is that the kids were making like grunting sounds and writhing around in pain and kind of, acting possessed. It was kind of like almost like a possession.
See?
So, you know...
Well, they are at that age of, like, kind of, like, going into the spirit kind of sides of, like the first part of this,
yeah, exactly, of kind of feel like the spirit's
yeah.
entering into them and stuff like that.
Yeah, speaking and doing things, making them
well,
do
they
it.
complain of being pricked and poked, and the doctors found nothing wrong with them physically. But, you know, again, like you say, it was the medicine of the day, so they didn't really have a clue how to diagnose. Probably just give them hey, pop 2 of these leeches down your trousers, you'll be fine in the morning, you know. But soon, more young women in the village began to exhibit the same symptoms and behaviours.
Right.
So, you know, according to the former Reverend of Salem, who was like Mr. Lawson, during a service in Salem village, he was interrupted multiple times by outbursts by the afflicted, right? And this would like, it was basically in, they were having a meeting in one of the paris's home, right? About something, and they were, the girls were outbursting and stuff, and the former reverend of the area was there, and he was like, whoa. What's going on with your kids?
You are possessed,
It's like, well, you're supposed to be one of our parish, like, you know, reverends, or, you know, one of our church leader types, or you're trying to be, you know, because I don't think this guy had very much luck in that respect, you know, and you know, this looked to be quite strange behaviour, and he started wanting to question the girls, right?
Like he would.
So he believed it was witchcraft, right, and he believed
ignorance was split over there, wasn't it? At that time?
You've got to remember these as well, right? This whole community was based on the King James Bible, and like, and there were a Puritan society.
You couldn't have Christmas. You couldn't
they
be
were
happy.
all
You had to be a miserable
it was like
bastard
you had to be a miserable bastard the whole time, and how it worked was that they kind of made you feel guilty for sin. Right. So, you know, you're trying to think, I want to go to heaven, right? But all the while you're made to feel like, am I good enough to go to heaven? Have I thought of something that might make me not go to heaven? Have I done something that might make me go to heaven? So they kind of really towed the line in terms of like their religious beliefs and what they could and couldn't do. Yeah, but in the Bible, it actually states, there's a line in it saying, you shall not let a witch live. So they took that very seriously, believed that it was, witches are in the Bible, they're real, you can't let them live, and so they've got to do something if they come across them, right? So, you know, they had to fucking
go on a hunt.
Well, they took it to an extreme, because they took the Bible very literally. And it's funny though, because King James actually wrote another book on demonology, right, which is crazy. I think he was drummed into him, So when he was writing like their version of the Bible, it was kind of very one-sided in terms of like Catholicism. You know, they would try. Well, I think because his parents were Catholic, and they tried to hit the kind of Puritan sort of angle. So they had to kind of like drum in the sins of the Catholicism route. You know what I mean? The demons, you know, all that. And the Catholics were kind of like quite a more of a chilled out
group. Like,
do you know, in comparison to the Puritans. So these Puritans have gone over to the New World, set up a colony which is supposed to be this idyllic, you know, everyone working together. But it just wasn't working like that because everybody just like sued everybody. They were all like, right, anyway. So we're now according to a former reverend of the city. So he's basically started questioning them, right, the girls, and according to the reverend, he'd asked who was doing this to them, who was controlling them, who was thrusting their evil spirit upon them. Because something was happening, and they were, like I say, they're very religious. So it was obviously some demonic thing that was going on.
Must be the only case.
They'd said, the girls, that they blamed people in the village, right?
Just random people.
Well, it made sense of who they blamed, or who was the first to get blamed.
Wow.
Because there was one woman in the village who was like a beggar. Yeah, she was a lower class citizen. She was very kind of like unwashed and kind of probably frowned upon by the village.
Like
yeah, you don't know. These girls might have been rude to her one day, and she was rude back, and they're getting their own back. You don't know, right?
Kids are kids.
Kids are kids. Yeah. Right. They also blamed another woman called. So there was Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, who was the town hussy.
Right. Okay.
And
why
also.
Why do you have a problem with the town hussy?
Well, it's young kids, isn't it? It's frowned upon, isn't it? And obviously the Puritans, so anything a bit kind of like, oh, they've probably been told by the parents, you know, keep away from them. They don't go to mass, the sinners, all that. And then the third was a slave girl called Tituba, right? Right. Now Tituba was actually working for the Parises, right? And she was a slave who came from she was seen as like an Indian descent, but she was actually from the Caribbean. Right. So but there was all this kind of superstition about the Indian tribes, because obviously the colonials have come in and sort of tried robbing their land. Yeah. And there was a lot of wars and.
So they automatically think you know.
Well, they didn't see it. They thought they chanted and they did stuff like that, so they automatically thought you're evil and you're not. You know, you're praying to demonic things and stuff like that. So she was kind of like seen as mysterious and dark-skinned and all the rest of it. So she was blamed straight away, right? But when it came to it, really, because she was the slave of she was the slave of this family where these girls lived as well.
So they blamed her for the kids being the way they acted.
Well, Tituba didn't actually brought it on herself in a lot of ways, because she used to babysit for him while the Rev and his wife would go out doing the business around town.
What's to get bread over that?
Trying to see parishioners and trying to get them to join his flock. Yeah. Right. So they'd go out and do that, and Tituba would be at the house watching the girls. Yeah. And she wouldn't just watch them, she'd watch about nine of them. Right. Right? All young girls. And
don't tell me all the girls that ended up getting ill.
A few of them, right?
But not all of them.
Not all of them.
So where were the others then? Why aren't they ill?
So we'll get to that in a minute. And I've got my theories on why I think they were ill in the first place.
Right, okay.
Yeah. But we'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah, we will.
But Tituba, like I say, she didn't make it easy for herself, because she'd tell them stories about growing up in the Caribbean and voodoo, and she'd do like parlour tricks. Do you know, like when girls have slumber parties and they do, I want to know what my husband's going to be like and all the rest of it.
So she had a big mouth.
She'd do this thing where she'd get a glass of water, break an egg into the glass, and let the yolk or the whites suspend in the liquid. Yeah. Just hold it up against a candle and say, "You'll see your future husband in it." So there was already these sort of like things about her that she's a witch,
mainstream.
that weren't mainstream in a Puritan colonial village, right?
So you're bound to get fucking targeted.
So she's been dragged in. Yeah. The other two have been dragged in as well. Yeah. Right. The Paris family's home. Samuel Paris and his wife would attend meetings and stuff, like I say. Yeah. So she'd been kind of looking after him. Yeah. The colony at Salem were pretty much full on Puritan. So any form of black magic, witchcraft was the devil's work.
So basically, it's because she was black that they believed that she had magic.
Well, not necessarily, because she was a slave. She was the lowest sort of form in terms of like.
Well, yeah, she would be the easy target, first target, right? We've solved our problem. Don't matter if it was someone that actually is doing it and he's going to do it next week as well.
Yeah. Well, she'd also been part of this other thing, right? Because when the girls first got ill and they suspected a witchcraft sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah. She took the advice of one of her neighbours, right, to bake this cake. What right? For? It was a voodoo trick.
Oh yeah,
to bake the cake, she had to get some of the urine of the afflicted. Oh, right?
What my days.
Give it to, bake it into the cake, feed the cake to a dog, and the dog would lead you to the witch or the leader of the witches, right? And that's what she did. She baked the cake, right? But basically the town went mental because they were using witchcraft to find witchcraft. Or the devil's magic on the devil.
Well, yeah.
It's not going to work, really, is it? So, like, so there was all these things of stacking up against it about that she didn't, you know, what could she do?
Yeah.
But, you know, the thing is about this type of situation.
Yeah.
Is, and as well, these Puritans, they kind of think, well, confess. They just want a confession, right?
Yeah,
they don't care if you could
guilty or not.
You could swear blue murder that you didn't do it, right? And they will just keep on at you for a confession. As soon as you confess, if you refuse to talk, that's when you're gonna get fucked up, right? But if you turn around and say,
"It's a mute,"
yeah, I am a witch, and so are they, right? You won't. There'll be no issue. Right, because as far as they're concerned, God will sort you out after that. You've confessed your sins, so it's down to God if He lets you into heaven after that.
God proved us a fucking God before.
Right, well, in March of 1692, 7 girls were now sick, and from young girls, but married women were also come down. As well, right? So older women, I mean, right? And up until then, they couldn't really use the testimony of the girls because they were all underage, right? So the fact that older women were getting ill, they could actually use that as
testimony.
Turn
around and say how it started, or who they're blaming, or the bullshit that they're thinking or imagining because fucking LSD or whatever's in the fucking head.
Yeah. Well, this is what I was going to say, because basically, like, from the research I've done, right, there's an actual a mould that grows on rye bread, right, and it's called Ignis or wait, hang on, I've got it here now. Won't be a second. Iggot fungus, right? Yeah. Now the iggot fungus develops on rye bread, right, and rice and a few other things like that, right? And if it's ingested, it can cause violent burning, a rapid pulse, shooting pains in the fingers and toes, loss of limbs due to like
poison yourself, basically.
Well, kind of like lock of circulation to the limbs.
So it's hitting right to the body.
Irritable behaviour, seizures, high fever, loss of strength, hallucinations,
dying,
and even death. So you know, it makes more sense that this was something that had been kind of like, you're in a small village, you've got contaminated food,
especially
everybody's sharing, and like if everyone's going to the same house to be babysat, maybe they're eating from the same place, you know, it stands to reason that more people are going to come down with it. Now I think that's what that is. I mean, actually that's LSD is derived from that fungus. So
they were on the fucking
I think that they were kind of poisoned, and this whole kind of hysteria came out of just a few accusations and a lot of scared people.
Scaremongering.
So
that's what happens with scaremongering and shit. Things go wrong when they're not fucking right.
Well, it was at this point that 2 magistrates were called in, right, to kind of deal with it, because you know you've got 3 people all accused of being a witch. Now, they didn't have a real court system. They lived in a small little village. So
as well, the judges said, basically.
So you had John Hanthorne and John Carbin, who came in, or Corbin, sorry, came in the village.
Corbin?
Yeah, John Corbin came in from to the village from Salem town to see if it was worth having an actual trial.
Right.
And it was here where the afflicted were asked to point out the witch or the witches that was afflicting them, and you know, it was actually transcribed, this, so like it's documented what was actually said in the courtroom.
Right. Okay.
So Titterbow was questioned about her working with the devil, and how she was controlling the girls. And at first she said that she was, she claimed her innocence, but after a couple of hours of really grilling her and just asking her all these questions like who was it, who's your master, who do you, and even every way she put it, I'm like, I don't serve anybody, I've got my master's my master, all the rest of it. They just wanted a confession, So now Tituba's a slave, so she's been through.
She's lost nothing, then, and she's going to lose nothing else apart from her life.
Up until that point, she's been from pillar to post. She's been sold and all this. And you don't know what the history was, but it stands to reason that she's probably had a few encounters. So she knows the script, is what I'm getting at. She knows how to kind of just tell them what they want. And they'll, I'm not causing an issue.
Not doing it, then why?
Well, it's kind of like if you don't.
And if it's the laws of our laws, then they've already fucked up on a couple of things.
Well, she basically just decided to tell them what she wanted to hear. So
what they wanted to know.
And that is the most stupid thing to do.
Well, all the magistrates wanted to hear at this point was a confession.
Yeah,
so
that's what
she tells the story of a man who approached her. He wore all black and was very tall with dark hair.
Let me guess, the devil.
She said it was a man who'd come from Boston, and he'd approached her with a book and asked her to work for him and sign this book. Now the book was kind of significant because the book was about the devil himself and how he'd recruit his souls. So it was kind of like the contract with the devil. It's like if you were a full-blown witch, you would have signed the book.
Then would she have pinned a finger because she signs it in blood apparently? Well,
she said something about a bird because they say the witch's mark, which is the mark of the devil.
Yeah.
And she let a yellow finch suckle on the finger, which was where her mark was. So I don't know. Maybe that
was significant.
Significant in towards that. Yeah. But she also told the story about that this man would approach her sometimes as a dog and sometimes as a hog, right? And as she said this, the girls in the courtroom started chanting, sometimes a hog, sometimes a dog, started really getting really repetitive and trying to one-up each other in who's loudest and screaming and writhing and doing all this weird shit, right? Yeah. So it kind of like spurred the case on. Everyone was like, see that her story is influencing these girls to a point where they're going crazy in this inquest.
Separate.
Well, that's what you'd expect.
Separate them in a different.
They never did that because these cases relied heavily on psychical evidence. Right? They didn't have evidence to speak of. So it was all encounters or,
Say
so.
Yeah.
So you'd say, oh, I'm being tormented by the spirit or the
devil, get out of me!
Not the reincarnation, what would you call it? A manifestation of your spirit is torturing me and coming to me in the night and it's making doing mad things. So but like I say, they were relying on this. They wanted the girls to stay in the room. Do you know? So
that's fair enough.
So
it's wrong.
But they wanted to know, right? And this is where it goes from being a witch trial to a witch hunt, because it went from that to they asked her about this book, and she'd said there was up to 9 names in the book, right?
Right.
She named 4, right?
Yeah.
But she said there was still 5 that she couldn't see, right? Which meant there was 5 more witches in the area of Salem, right? So they were like, that could be anybody. Now it's a small town, do you know?
But that's only in his book.
500 people. No, this is in his book, but that's 5 witches that are devoted to the devil.
The devil.
Yeah, and they've caught 4, but there's still 5 on the loose. Right. So they wanted names, right?
Yeah.
So like she says, she
didn't see him, so she give what she got.
No, Tituba actually did give names. She gave.
Well, I thought she said she couldn't see them on the page, so why?
She saw 4,
Yeah.
and there was 5 that she couldn't see. There was 9 in total.
So she
named the names of the 4, which was Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, herself, and another name, which was Martha Corey, right? Now Martha Corey was actually quite a God-fearing woman. She was like a never gonna miss church, proper like you know, stiff upper lip kind of woman, really kind of hard-faced.
Yeah,
you know,
good disguise.
She was she like 60-year-old. You know, she wasn't really like.
She went in it like shit until she got in it. Oh, devil, come inside me.
But 9 witches in total were seen, so that meant there was still some on the loose.
Cross.
So Martha Corey says she was 60 years old, and she was the wife of Gillis Corey.
All right.
And like I say, Martha was super church going, and if you know she was being branded a witch, then that just meant anybody could really, because if she was the highest sort of fundamentalist Puritan, and she's getting accused, then that means nobody's safe. So she's like been dragged in.
Thing the judges could be.
And the girls said that they were being tormented by her ghostly apparition at night.
Right.
So she was brought in for questioning. Now she told them that she was not involved. There was no way she was involved, and she was like,
"Why the fuck are you bringing me in?"
But she was devout. She was like, I'm
a God person.
Exactly. I'm not going to stand here and get accused. Yeah. But she wasn't playing the game. Titterbo was playing the game. She said, "Yeah, I'm the witch." Yeah. And
but hearing me mates.
Yeah, but Martha didn't. She said she up until the end she swore her innocence, and she never pointed a finger at anybody else either and said it was them and not me. You know?
That's because she's got
and that's
the devil
all
to deal
they
with
wanted
afterwards.
to hear. Oh, she like I say, she was like somebody of like upstanding in the community, and if she was getting accused, anybody could fair game. And Gillis was like kind of like just a farmer. So, you know, he had no qualms with anyone, he had no beef, he just was like, love my wife, love my job, just want to get on with it. And all of a sudden his wife's been dragged in on witch charges, right? So, so like I say, the girls were saying that they were involved, and it was, you know, just madness. So they had to investigate it all anyway. And the evidence, like I say, was all spectral evidence, and they needed that because the girls screaming all just added to it, all added to the courtroom drama. Yeah,
it made it more of a performance than it should have.
And that's how it kind of comes across as well as a performance.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but the question is, could it be?
Yeah.
Could it have been a performance?
Kids in general, though, they reckon are more susceptible, same as animals, to the supernatural.
Yeah, they do.
You never know, do you, whether the girls was being possessed by someone or was being controlled by a witch.
Well,
it just sounds like a lot of hearsay, like he said, she said.
Well, it was a lot of like he said, she said, and in April 1692, the wild stories and the accusations started to kind of go viral, and the madness started to spread out of Salem town into the surrounding areas. So 6 more people were imprisoned by the end of April, bringing the total in the Salem jail to 10. And then some of these people would be like, you know, accused, and because they had like family who were like young girls, or they might be showing signs, or they objected, then they'd get accused as well. And there was one case, Sarah Good's actual child was actually 4 years old, and she was incarcerated along with her mum, right? And after 8 months, she went crazy, the little girl, 4 years old, in a little jail cell. And what's that going to do? The kid's gone crazy because it's been locked up in a tiny little space, right, with hanging conditions, right? And that just proves their point, because the kid's gone crazy, she's a witch. Yeah so there was no way out of this unless you just...
Simpler times, though, wasn't it?
Simpler to people, I think.
Yeah, because they didn't know any better.
Well, the conditions in the jail were fucking squalor, basically. And you could get food, and you could get new bedding and stuff like that, but you had to pay for it.
What?
Yeah? So your family would have to go out and get the money to pay for that. Yeah.
Well, what
If
about
you
the
didn't
family
pay,
getting the food and passing it on?
well, he could do that, I suppose. But like,
That'd
if
be a better
you know,
option.
if you were no, I mean, it went through the jail cell sort of thing. So you know, it was like up to the jailer and the
Yeah, you'd have to bribe.
what are they
or
called
something.
now? The sheriff, the sheriff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you know, but you could ask him, but you had to basically pay. And the only person who seemed to benefit from it was the sheriff.
Right.
Yeah. So, and what he'd do is as soon as people were accused of being a witch, he'd roll in and he'd confiscate all the possessions, he'd confiscate the land, and he'd confiscate money and property, right?
Shit.
And he was, you know, just taking the piss basically. So there was a lot of dispute in Salem about this, and kind of like did get a lot of people like questioning it.
Yeah.
Now, so like I say, it started to kind of travel out and you know, get it to it. So I think it's like obviously trying to make a money scheme out of it. And there were certain people who were cashing in.
Yeah, there were a lot of people
blatantly.
cashing in.
So,
And yeah, like you said, blatantly.
Yeah.
Blatantly cashing in because you're a witch. Or you're supposed to have been a witch.
Yeah, Lee, you've pissed me off this week, so you're a witch.
Me, yeah. You call me a witch. No, I'll end up getting burned.
That's what it comes across as.
Yeah.
If you had a grievance with someone, you could get your own back by accusing them of being a witch.
Yeah, well, really, I wouldn't be a witch. I'd be a warlock, wouldn't I? Really.
Well, you still
males
get
would be
accused
warlock.
of being a
Back in
witch.
them days, you were classed as witches when you were male or female.
Well, that's a bit
Warlocks only
sexist,
come in
isn't
later-
it? That's a
later.
bit sexist, that. I'm still a warlock. I don't want to be a witch. I'm too pretty for that.
Well,
I ain't got no warts on my fucking nose.
Well, this is what it all came down to, really. Disputes.
Yeah.
Right? And if I had a problem with you, you'd accuse me.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is kind of what happened
It was.
to the former Reverend George Burroughs. Now, he was the ex-Reverend of Salem Village between 1680 and 83.
Yeah.
And, you know, people love talking about fucking... They love taking people to court back in those days, rather because they were like a very pure and religious singer. They didn't want to resort to violence, so they wanted to thrash out in the courtroom, and they just loved it. They take you to court for anything,
Well, they sort of do that now in America.
And
I'll sue you for that, man. I'll sue you for that.
So, like I say, George Burroughs, age 42, was took Thomas William Putnam to court, right? Over. Right. Basically, what had happened was the town had said that we were going to refuse to pay him for his services. Yeah,
Wow,
right.
what services?
He was a reverend, right? So he was the clergyman.
Yeah,
right?
so I won't pay him.
But this is for the Puritan Church, right? But there was a whole Catholic following, and it kind of was half split, right? So half the town was Catholic, or like chilled out religion, the other one Puritan, right? And it kind of mirrored in the accusations as well, because half the village was like accusing, half of the village was accused. Right? So it was you know, it kind of mirrored in that respect.
It's like two fucking armies and they're against each other and saying tit for tat at the minute.
So Thomas wanted to actually build a church in Salem, right? But he didn't end up doing. But overall, the Putnam family accused 181 people of being witches during the Salem witch trials.
Jesus.
And
That's
from what I can gather, Burroughs owed Putnam money, right?
Right. But, so it's all over fucking money again.
Yeah, but basically it's not.
They spunk it all out.
What happened was, George Burroughs owed him money, but the town weren't paying him for his services, so he couldn't pay his debt to Putnam. Right.
Well, hold on. All the town wasn't paying for his services.
Yeah.
Only
the governor, or the people who ran the town and the finances were paying him to be a reverend.
Yeah, and he didn't get his cash.
And he wasn't getting his cash. So
I ain't doing my job then.
So then it meant that the Putnams were coming at him, going, "Where's my money?"
Yeah.
And he's gone, "Well, I can't pay you because I'm not getting paid for what I'm doing."
Go and see
so he ended up getting taken to court anyway, and he successfully argued the case, right?
Yeah, which you would.
But the Putnams didn't like that. No, they were pissed off. They'd lost. They were embarrassed. Yeah. So like, but they didn't forget it. They didn't want to let that go. Do you know what I mean? So
revenge is sweet, best served cold.
Exactly.
Gaz, have you got anything in there about the so-called killings that they blamed on Abigail Williams?
Oh, right.
A guy went around killing people, hanging, and like the witches did it.
No, I didn't.
And he blamed the ghost of Abigail Williams.
But what? Since when?
That was
that recent?
No, that was years ago. That was
sort
of after the witchcraft. Yeah, it was like early 1940s, I think. He killed a few women in Salem and strung them up.
And
he drowned one like they did the witches drowned. He hung one of them.
Well, that goes back into the spirits, then, doesn't it? That goes back in the spirit.
Yeah, it kind of goes into like that, you know, blaming the devil again. It's like, well, that's what the whole thing was about. Again, it's like that's what they were all accusing these others of being like tormented by spirits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you know,
he said it was her spirit causing him to do it, and he was killing witches.
Well, Burroughs, anyway, he'd won his case. He'd decided I'm moving away. And he went to work on the frontier settlements, and was quite happy there. But like I said earlier, there was a lot of wars between the native Indians, right? And he survived quite a few attacks, right? And everyone was like, "Oh, you're fucking lucky," you know, basically. So you know,
so you're a witch, and you will be damned.
He managed to survive, but he wouldn't be so lucky to survive the Putnams, right? The Putnams. The guy who was, you know, earlier in the courtroom. So in April 20th of 1692, Anne Putnam Jr. said that the spectre of Burroughs was haunting her and speaking to her, and he wanted to basically say that he was the leader of the witches. Right. Now don't forget, this is Anne Putnam, the daughter, right? So, you know, it's a bit funny that she's pointing the finger at him, and he's not even in the town anymore. He's miles away on the frontier, but they kind of said that he resembled the Indians. Yeah, he was an olive-skinned guy, right? So they always said that, like, he was a bit kind of like, that there was potential of him being a witch, right? And he said that the girl said that he'd even bewitched the soldiers that were fighting the Indians on the frontier. So, you know, all these accusations were coming in about Burroughs. So,
all by the same woman.
Well, this was the daughter of Putnam.
Not a lot of cheek.
I know. Well, this is all it was. It was accusations, and like, you know, it was keeping them alive. If they keep pointing the finger at people, then they're not going to trial. So, you know, but things weren't looking good for Burroughs anyway.
No, it doesn't.
So it had been 5 months since the first girl in the village started to have fits.
Again.
And then, so it was like May 1692. No, this has been 5 months, right? So there were, like, you know, and this has started to become more
serious,
a problem, because it had opened the floodgates, really, and there was reports from all over the Massachusetts area, saying that, you know, and then George Burroughs was captured and brought back to Salem from Maine, right? Because that's where he was.
That's where
down.
He was based
that's where he was based. And so he was brought in for criminal questioning. But because of his relaxed attitude, like, you know, they were kind of saying, because he was a reverend or an ex-reverend. They were saying, like, when was the last time you went to mass, and, you know, when did you
why are you keeping up with your religion?
And he was like, I went a few weeks ago, but, you know, I'm not, you know,
I've been busy, really, I've been flying on the fucking front line.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, you know,
so, you know, he was like, they just took this as, you know, like,
you're taking the piss
a total disregard for traditions and, like, you know, all the rest of it. So, you know, we obviously work of the devil and evil. So
must be.
And according to, like, the Puritan Church, anyone that saw him as, like, you know, a renegade, and, like, you know, this wasn't, they couldn't really have it, you know, not in their church, sort of thing.
Well, what are they going to do about it?
Well, they blamed him, they accused him of being a witch, and they've, you know, they locked him up. Well, the government, like, so...
Little bastards, them Puritans. They should have been all on the fucking front line, where the Christians were sat there waiting, going, yeah, mate, go on, we'll make you some signage when you get back. Well, hey, I got a banana. You've never seen one of these before, have you?
Well, the governor organised a special court in Salem town.
Yeah.
For, you know, it was getting overcrowded in the thing there. So like by May the 27th of May, 1692.
Yeah.
Or so 1693 are we on? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. This court was set up, and it was comprised of 3 judges and a kind of a panel of like
chefs,
merchants, and town leaders, and just basically like the
those
heads,
at the top.
Yeah, the people at the top.
Yeah, those who got money.
And it was also had a jury of people made up of from all over Massachusetts. Really.
Right. Okay.
Right. William Stoughton was basically the head judge. He was the
like honcho.
He was like the governor judge.
Right.
And but he was known for being a bit of a hard ass. You know what I mean?
Eh?
Yeah, he was a bit of a bastard.
And no, can't have that.
So, and he was very proletarian, whatever, you know. So like he was very kind of
wanted to see him burn.
Yeah, of course he did. Well, the first person to be judged or put on trial was Bridget Bishop. And she was basically tried, and she wasn't allowed a defence. So, you know, she had to defend herself because there was no such thing as a defence lawyer in those days. It was like you were up in court, you had to defend yourself.
16.
So Bridget was 50, and she'd actually been accused of witchcraft a few years earlier, but she was found innocent.
Yeah.
But this time, things had changed, and they sort of changed the rules of it.
Yeah.
And they'd even brought the guy who was accused the last time in as evidence.
Yeah.
For this time. And she was found guilty on this occasion. So then it was like, and during the trial, they started up with the panic and the hysteria again. Do you know what I mean? So it was like these girls were saying that she was influencing them and stuff. Yeah. And it just becomes like this circus where, you know, they're all trying to one up each other to get the spotlight, and I can only assume it's because they're living in this little town where they don't get attention.
Yeah. But now they've got shit.
But isn't it funny how it's all the young girls? There's not many young boys jumping on the bandwagon with this, you know. So
well, girls were more acceptable, like we were talking in the last episode. They're more acceptable for these as children, and as girls they're more acceptable for these ghostly kind of. Or this kind of weird force that you've got around. You know what I mean? It's there's something there, but what is it? That's the question, and we haven't got an answer.
Aura. Well, they try to call it an aura.
Yeah, an aura, like some a presence or of Well,
something.
Whatever it was, this panic and hysteria just fueled the fires in disrupting the court. So the girls were asked to be removed. Right.
Yeah, what's wrong with
that? Which is perfectly reasonable, but like I say, they were very crucial in terms of like, you know, psychical evidence. Yeah. Right. And this guy was like, nah, keep him in. And because she didn't have a defence lawyer, there was no one to argue the case that it was disruptive and all the rest of it. Yeah, yeah. And she's not gonna go, I want him out. Yeah, you know. She's just fucking in there. But also, one of the girls, or a few of the girls, were potentially stigmatizing themselves. They were sticking themselves with pins because they were holding their hands up with blood on the palms, saying that she was influencing them, and it was stigmata, right? So there was a lot of kind of fucked up shit going on in the courtrooms. So
I think
she was ultimately found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging. And on the 2nd of June. 1692, Bridget was sentenced of the crime of being a witch and was to be hung by the neck until she was dead.
Well, really, she was innocent.
And on the 10th of June, she became the first to die in Salem village.
Shit. We don't want that now, do you?
So, skipping forward to the 19th of July, 5 more would hang, Sarah Good being one of them, and then 4 more from the neighbouring villages.
Oh shit.
The reason why they hung these girls is because they refused to confess, basically.
So you're guilty by non-confession?
Yeah, exactly. And you see, if you did confess, like I said earlier, they believe that you're being kind of it's
You're
like
being
confession, isn't it?
You've
It's like you've confessed in front of the eyes of God, and now God judges you. So all they want is
so you're going to go to death anyway.
Yeah,
so
and
either way,
it
you're
seemed
going to fucking
like
die.
if you did confess,
which is murder.
you were all good. But like there was a rumor, there was a thing as well that they say that if anybody, not a witch or if you're a demon or a devil or anything like that, you can't utter the Lord's Prayer, right?
Yeah.
And when it came to Burroughs being hung, and it was his turn on the gallows, right? Clear as day, he started speaking the Lord's Prayer. Right. Now it was said that the crowd started surging forward in like shock. They were like, "This guy's not a witch. He's saying the Lord's Prayer. He's saying the Lord's Prayer and all this."
Might be backwards, but he's saying the Lord's Prayer.
But there was actually a guy who'd gone along who was who was I think he was a reverend from another town like Brooklyn. Yeah. And he'd gone over, or Boston he was. Right. He was called Cotton Mathers, and he was kind of like he was very interested in the case. Yeah. So he'd actually travelled down to Salem to see the hanging of George Burroughs himself. Yeah. Right. So
he saw the incident and reported.
So he travelled down on the 19th of August to Salem to witness the hanging. Yeah. And like I say, when he started speaking the Lord's Prayer, and all the panic and everyone saying he can't be a witch, right. Cotton Mathers stood forward and reassured them all and said basically, no, don't worry. The devil's a trickster. The devil he assumes pleasing forms, and don't worry about it. We've got the right guy. Don't when he assured them all that they were doing the right thing. And they still hung him. So even though
murderers,
he must have thought, I've got a little way out here, a little loophole, and he almost got away with it in terms of last minute thinking.
It's not a little loophole; it's actual bang.
Yeah,
right,
he was saving that right to the last minute. Yeah, and then he's just literally they've still ended up hanging him.
That's just some bullshit, that.
So on the 19th, Burroughs hung for the crimes of being a witch. So September's come along now, and this is where it starts getting gruesome, right? Because you've got the September executions of 1692, and it was like the bloodiest chapter of the story. And by the end of September, 9 more would have hung, right? And Martha Corey's husband, Gillis, right, the farmer, he's now been brought in. And he's now getting accused as well, right? But like his wife, right, he wasn't going to do it, man. He was like, no, you've had my wife, you've killed my wife, and you're not killing me. I'm not confessing to being a witch. I'm not a witch. Stop fucking coming to my house, telling me I'm a witch. My family's a witch. My dog's a witch. You'll be telling me my fucking pet kitten's a witch.
Yeah, my house is a witch. My squirrel in the backyard's a witch.
Right? Well, he had none of it. Right, so
good, man.
They wanted to extract a confession out of him, right? Yeah. So what they did was this is worse. They tortured him. They lay him down on the ground, and then they started adding rocks to his chest.
Oh right. Okay.
And more rocks were piled on top of Gillis until for 2 days. 2 days. 2 days. And every time they said, who you working with? Tell us who you were. You're a devil. Tell us about the devil. He'd say, you best put more weight on because I'm not.
I would have pointed out to one of them there. And he's the devil. He's the one who got me to do this shit.
Well, this is actually funny because it comes to a point where certain people are accused, and it's only when certain people are accused that it all kind of comes to a grinding halt. Oh right. But Gillis was not responding to the torture. He's basically not going to give up and say he's not going to confess to something he's not done. Right. And 2 days in, he died. Yeah. Right.
Poor bastard.
I know, yeah. It's pretty sad as well, and I mean, it's like a bit of a shit way to go considering you've just lost your wife and now you're going to sit there, lie there with rocks on your chest.
He probably didn't want to live anyway after his wife had been fucking murdered.
So
you know what I mean. So if you're probably in that mind of like, I want to fight, I'm fighting you. She lost.
Well, at this point, I think Martha wasn't even hung yet. She was still awaiting thingy. So you know,
he died first.
He died first.
Oh shit!
And on the 22nd of September, Martha, Corey, and 7 others would hang, all because they refused to confess for the crimes they never even committed, or point a finger at others. So you know, they were good people that they wouldn't even accuse somebody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get to get them out of shit. You know, and well, you wouldn't even get. Do you know what? In this day and age, there's people would walk over their own fucking mother to get out of their shit, but they'd throw everyone else under the bus. So yeah, no, you got to give them credit that they went and they were hung for the beliefs and stuff. But a lot of people wanted to stop the trials by this point by saying anything, you know, but they couldn't say anything because
there was nothing to say.
Well, if you said anything, then you're getting pointed the finger at. So a lot of people kept quiet, and they knew that they had to say something, but they had to hold the tongue and bide the time. You know, in terms of the
they only had a certain amount of time, and they ran out of it. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, at least 19 of them did, which was a shame.
But more and more people around Massachusetts, like I say, were starting to talk, and Thomas Baffle was one of the who openly talked about the trials and even questioned the magistrates and what was going on. So, and how the system worked. You know, like the confessions to will let you live, and if you don't confess, you die. Yeah. It just made no sense. So he basically he was explaining, you're in a catch-22 situation. So it was about this time Cotton Mather's father, Reverend, making a load of racket.
Sorry, folks.
So it's about this time that Cotton Mather's father, the Reverend Icarus Mathers, wrote a document basically saying, be careful of the power of accusations, and how it's better to have 10 accused witches go free than one innocent person die. Do you know what I mean? Which makes total sense. And this was the first guy who's actually come out and started making a bit of sense. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And based on this,
fucking murdering us.
The court was closed down. This kangaroo court that they'd organised in Salem town to you know, purify the area and get rid of all these witches that were causing all this trouble. You know, without knowing the history of medicine and not knowing more about medicine. Yeah. They sentenced a lot of people to death. Oh yeah. And like I say, I don't know if that is what they died or what they were getting ill from. Yeah. You know, this fungus on the rye bread or the food harvest.
Sounds like it is.
But you know, there's got to be a reason why all these people were getting sick. But by October 1692, the crazy court had been stopped. And the girls would still need to be tried because they're in the system now. You know, they've got to kind of go through the court system. So
the proper court system.
Exactly. They were moved to the real court system. So, you know, it was
done the right way.
Done the right way. And the good thing about this was that this psychical evidence that they were relying so heavily on was banned. They weren't allowed to use it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So 52 people were actually cleared at that point, but 3 were still up for charges, and you know, they actually were found guilty, those 3.
Oh shit.
It'd still take a further 3 months before
they hanged after that.
Yeah, those 3 were. Right. And it's like say it's
still doing the hanging, but they were doing it through the proper courts instead of the kangaroos.
Exactly. A further, well, there would be, if you are tried of being a witch, like I say, there were witch trials from the 1500s. Oh, yeah. So, you know, it wasn't 1500
till 1660 in Europe.
Yeah, and 1700s. No, well, I've got another story at the end of this, which says that they went on quite a lot longer than that. Right?
Oh, yeah, it's true.
So it took actually 3 months longer to get the 52 women out. Yeah. And unfortunately, 3 of them actually died in prison. So there was only 49 released in the end. So, you know, it's pretty sad.
It is.
In 1697, one of the judges
Don't tell me he was one.
No, he had basically he had a breakdown and asked forgiveness for all of his sins during that time, because it was kind of over in terms of the Salem witch trials, but there was a lot, and this is what makes me laugh as well, because it's such a kind of like a weird belief system for it to have happened in, because you were kind of like in a paranoia that you couldn't really do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're kind of forced to do these things because you believe it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You can't really do anything. You're in a bit of a catch-22 situation.
Yeah.
Right? So it must have weighed heavily on the mind afterwards. So like I say, in 1697, one of the judges had a breakdown and asked for forgiveness for his sins. Then they started giving like reformation to the victims.
Yeah.
You know, the town. Yeah. Like, and the families that were actually afflicted by it, and like, because it must have been horrible. Yeah. It's not only that you're living in a shithole anyway. The fact is, you've just fucking started up a colony, right? It can only be very basic.
You're already starting to kill your people,
and it's already going like it's going really, really badly wrong.
Fucking, yeah.
You know, and
it's the understatement of the year.
So, but you've got to kind of think, well, was it kind of how much of the girls were playing up, and how much was kind of down to a legitimate sickness?
I think the girls were playing up a little bit. I'm not too sure.
I do think, because that courtroom and like sort of the repeating and the screaming and the pins and all the rest of it. Only can say, I might say it's a small village, so they mustn't have ever had much going on. Right, so
yeah, exactly.
They don't have much attention.
Can't go hunting, go out for berries. There's only so many fucking berries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Alright, then I'll go and do the washing up and the fucking ironing. You know what I mean?
Well, like I say, not very many people mentioned it though, or kind of brought it up in that sort of way, up until around about 1700, where they started, say, paying reformations.
Yeah.
1706, now 24, Anne Putnam Jr., who was responsible for a lot of people's deaths, openly made an apology to the church, as well as the families. I know, but she was now a bit older, and I think she basically said she was under the influence of Satan, and she could only make.
So she's a witch
apologies. Now. Well, no, she was saying she was being influenced by something. Now she's saying the influence of Satan, but it doesn't necessarily mean like, you know,
she's possessed.
Well, she's saying she was possessed. She was ill. Like,
she was ill. So if she was ill, she was possessed.
Right. Well, she was possessed, but she's saying now at the age of 24, she doesn't. She's recognised that what she was doing had hurt people.
She's just talking waffle.
Well, she was the only one. She was the only one who actually apologised, right? And do you remember?
Might have been sincere.
Well, I think she was genuinely sincere. But do you know what we were saying about the sheriff?
Still doesn't matter at the end of the day, or them people who lost their lives.
Well, you know, we were saying about that sheriff earlier who was kind of stealing land and stuff like that and properties. Yeah. He never gave any of it back, and he continued to stay on the land up until like he died.
That's some bullshit, that.
But after 1692, the courts actually stopped trying witches in America because of the horrific shit that went down in Salem. And there's quite a lot of people, you know, unnecessarily died because
of some waffle.
Because
someone's accused them of being someone.
Without no evidence, because they didn't need the evidence. All they had to do was have a.
Well, there was no such thing as innocent until proven guilty, and they operated on the common law.
So the common law would have been if you don't hurt no one, if you don't incur in costs, and if you don't. If you don't basically make him distressed. Yeah. Like distressed or like, you know, physically, like mentally fucked with their heads. As long as you ain't doing none of that.
Yeah, then you should be alright. Yeah. Now I was talking earlier about like the last sort of like when the last witch trial was. Yeah. And I was looking into another story. It was a witch story, and it was the story of Helen Duncan. Which is funny because that's my last name, right? And it was kind of had to be a Duncan, didn't it? Right? And it wasn't even that long ago, because basically this woman Helen Duncan, she had a big nose, or what?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. A feather cap.
She rode a broom. She was really good at Quidditch. She was fucking top at Quidditch, I'll tell you that.
Shit.
Well, anyway, Helen Duncan was accused of witchcraft, right, in the 1940s, 1941, right? And what had happened was she was in a séance in Edinburgh, and there was a colonel there, and she gave a prophecy that a boat would carry, it was like not a boat, it was like a naval warship carrying quite a fair few guys, you know, had sunk, and that it was lost and all was lost on the boat. So this colonel, who's rang up his barracks and said, after the séance, is there anything to this? Because I've just been to a séance and she was very convincing, you know. His superiors come back and said, it's total bollocks, mate, you know, she's don't worry about it.
Waffling.
A couple of days later, he receives a message back. She was spot on, right? So this boat's gone down, right? So they they think we're going to keep an eye on her because we don't know if it's, you know, she's actually got powers or is she a spy, right? So later on, a few years later, I think like 1943 or 4, she'd made another prediction about another boat going down. Now, they knew that it had gone down the day before, and she's gone out and predicted this, but they didn't actually release that information, right? They didn't actually release the information about the boat going down for 3 months, but there was actually evidence to say that the information had been out and it was privy to certain people, but whether she was privy to it was another story, you know. So
but you got to go on the premise, because you knew the information, that she must have got the information from there. That's the only other way she could have known.
Well, turned out
something going on.
that the MI5 were interested in her, and they've brought her in for questioning under the apprehension of her being a spy. But when when they've investigated her and talked to people who were at the séances, they've said, no, she's legit. Yeah, I've spoken to my mother, I've spoken to my father, my husband, literally face to face, and she's not joking. This is 100% real. So they tried her on witch charges, and that was in 1944. So you know that she was the last person in the UK to be tried as for witchcraft, and that was Helen Duncan.
I have a problem with that.
I thought that was brilliant because, I mean, like I say, it was funny that I was researching the witches this week for this story. I felt like, you know, a couple of stories on witches, and Helen's cropped up there.
Yeah,
and hey, we've got some kind of Scottish ancestry down there, you know. So you know.
Did she actually?
I've got my own tartan.
Oh no! Did she actually name the ships?
She named the ships, both of them. Yeah. So it was a bit more details to it, and I think I've just skirted over the details there, but yeah, there's a lot more to it.
It'd be easy to just go while there's a war on. Oh, a ship's gonna go down.
This is where I have the problem, because at one point or another,
did she know what ships it was?
Yeah, she might have known that they were going into battle in 2 days' time, and she reckons that she knows there's a couple of frigates,
well, this was
a cruiser, and the fucking destroyer.
Well, this was on the run up
to
this was on the run up to D-Day as well. So like the plans and sort of any information that could scupper that was very hush. So the fact that she knew details was kind of like alarming. They had to get her in. So you know,
there's been some there was some American tests on certain people on trying to see the future on what would happen there. You know, like Ultra.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. There was some stuff going on back then in America for that as well.
Well, this is it. It's like there is kind of like a lot of these. I mean, she could have had a psychic link to somebody. She could have actually. There was evidence to say, like I say, that certain people were privy to that information. And that,
but I still think it's down to probability, to be honest.
Could have been a spy.
Probability.
Yeah.
I don't think
spy or probability.
No one's gonna know except her, is there?
Yeah, but that's it, isn't it? But like a lot of these mediums have been proven to be fraudulent, you know, and
like
it's
Derek
yeah, well, don't want to name names, but yeah, I've met Derek Okora. I've actually met Derek Okora. There was one on who Darren Brown interviews. He's a guy from Liverpool. And like they kind of make him out to be a big liar as well, big fat liar. You big fat fucking liar.
You're just a liar.
He's a big fat phony. He's a phony.
When it comes to stuff like that, psychics and stuff, I think believe what you want to believe.
Yeah, totally. I'm
Yeah,
not going to
'cause
say
you
you
don't-
can't
you don't
believe
know.
it.
You never know.
And like I
You
say,
might be
we were
right, you might be
supposed to
wrong.
meet this white witch, and I was going to go in there with a total open mind. I had a selection of good questions. Actually, can I just stop you there a second?
Yeah.
I need to ask you a question, and we're going to go from the paranormal investigator questions are now.
Yeah. Okay.
Let
I was
me
going to say
have a
halfway
look.
through that to do that as well, but
Right.
it don't matter. Ask us 2 questions on this one. You got quite a few, haven't you?
Yes. What is the most common sign that there's a ghost around?
Orbs.
Smell.
The smell.
The
What
smell.
did he smell of?
No, it's actually cold
No,
spots.
smell.
They reckon cold spots.
Smell of bacon.
It's not. It's
It
cold.
is, it's smell of bacon.
It isn't. It's
Not
cold.
only
The
normal
most
bacon,
common
but
sign
bacon
of a-
trotters.
The most common sign of a ghost is a cold spot.
Yeah.
That's what they reckon.
And
then
coffee.
orbs, but orbs,
No,
a lot of
it's
people put an orb down to thingy, what's it?
No, it's coffee and bacon.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Oh,
Coffee and bacon.
he's a proper, he's a fucking comedian,
It is,
isn't
it's
he?
coffee and bacon, man.
Right.
Believe me, I know
Okay, and I'm
everything.
going to give you a question from the witch
Yeah, go on
category as well. So, what are your thoughts on the popularized adaptations that the Hollywood representation of witches, i.e., Harry Potter?
Harry Potter, I think.
Harry Potter.
Bull
Yeah,
crap.
I'll let you answer this first.
Magic exists, but it's not what people believe magic to be.
It's
People
illusions.
think it's, oh, you can do this.
You
oh,
can go
do
to
that.
Hogwarts, learn
It's not
it.
a case of that. A lot of magic comes from hoodoo.
Yeah,
Do you
voodoo,
want Mammy
hoodoo,
the
yeah.
If you put hex on someone, it doesn't actually work like.
Well, this is what I was
the
saying. It's like
voodoo's
I'm quite
portray it.
open to it, and we were going to actually get our tarot
Tarot's
cards
done, yeah.
read as well, and we were going to
I've
put
had
that
them
in the
done.
podcast, but we didn't end up. Obviously, it's been cancelled. We'll do that for another time.
Yeah.
So, what
yeah.
do you think about the whole Salem witch trials?
I think they was played a lot of it. I think I'm going to say was revenge.
I think
Of
it was.
people.
I think it was a case of that you've got an opportunity, bit like the purge, to get rid of someone, and
Get
you
rid
could
of your enemy.
if someone's pissed you off, or they've even it could be something so petty that.
He bumped into you.
Yeah, and he's not.
He's still
he
giving my
doesn't.
lawnmower back.
He's not as kind of Puritan as I am.
Yeah.
So he's obviously a bit fucking.
Oh, he's got a nicer house than me.
anything. Yeah.
Or I like his wife, so I'm going to get rid of him.
But then again,
Yeah.
that goes back to the Puritan sort of way of thinking that if you have those thoughts, you're not pure.
No.
So.
So if you're not pure, you're a witch. That's how it comes
exactly.
across.
So I mean, it was just so much hocus pocus and stuff like mumbo jumbo back then. It was like
Because I do believe in witches,
didn't know much
but
about
it was naivety and
Yeah.
a case of that they just didn't really have a good
You
education.
didn't have answers to questions that you could answer the
I
question.
believe in
where you
witches and
couldn't
stuff
back then.
and like demons.
Because they didn't still understand science or the way things worked around. They only understood.
But that's it though, in terms of like being a
where
white
it needed
witch
to be.
or a wise woman or
White
something
witches
like
are
that.
only
Yeah,
You
the
couldn't,
witch,
you
yeah.
couldn't do it.
Tell
You must have had to call yourself these other names because you couldn't really go around saying you were a witch of any description.
Yeah, but if you found a cure to a problem that has been going on rife since I don't know back in time, and you found a cure for it, you'll be named a witch back then.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I mean? Yeah, if you were a doctor,
Well, no, it
you're a
depends
witch.
because if you might have been an alchemist or something
Yeah,
like that,
exactly.
whereas
It's
like
just a case
Some
that-
in history, some people have been accused of being witches.
Yeah.
Have claimed they're an alchemist, not a witch.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
there was actually a witch who spoke to Queen Victoria, I believe, and told her a future. He told her, John Deed, his name was, and he went and told her a future and told her when she was going to die and everything like that. So when she did die, on the date that he said that she would die, in the way that she did, he was arrested and put into jail. 3 years later, he was let out by the next Queen Elizabeth. So then when he was let out, he met a guy called Keane, I think it was. Kelly. Summit Kelly.
Not R. Kelly.
No, I think it was John Kelly or Joseph Kelly. And basically they went
I'm in
into
the
all that kind
closet.
of magical stuff, and there was supposed to be like different things that they were getting up to
Right.
back in the day. Yeah, man.
There's rules though, isn't there?
And that's where the monkey comes in, where John's seen
the chicken monkey ghost.
A top monkey, with his leg, chicken.
He's serious? Is this where this came from?
This is where he's come from, right? So he's seen the chicken.
Right, okay.
And he's seen it, so he's trying to shove it away. And his hand goes right through it and it moves. And he keeps doing it for a while and it just doesn't go anywhere. And then it basically just turns round and
that's because you're dealing with a half chicken, half monkey ghost.
Well, and it's like, what the fuck?
Half chicken, half monkey ghost.
Half chicken, half monkey. It's some weird shit, man. I couldn't believe it when I read it last night.
All I know is
what the fuck? And this is in our history.
All I know is white witches
are
not allowed to use powers for their own gain.
Yeah.
Or they reckon they lose them.
Yeah,
and
dark powers.
Witches will use theirs
for gain. Yeah, that's
control. Well, if you really do have any witches listening and you want to come and talk about Wiccan and paganism, or even any of your beliefs in that respect, then get in touch and we can have a chat.
Yeah.
Have you got any shout outs this week?
I've got some more on the witches.
Have you?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I have. Right, well, I'll tell you what.
Keep going on the witchy witch.
The amount of death.
Do you know which witch is which?
Which?
That's right. Here's another question for you.
Which?
Do you know which witch is which?
Which one?
The which is which?
Yeah, but which one?
All of them.
Which?
That which one?
Which one? Which one?
The one that with which I'm talking about.
Were you on about the one witch or two witch?
Which is the witch I'm talking about?
That witch.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Well, with the amount of murders and the trials and the shit that was going on in America, that was nothing compared to between 1500 and 1660.
You're going to say Germany, aren't you?
No, I'm going to say Europe.
Yeah, I think like Italy was quite bad for it. Germany.
800,000 people.
Where was that?
That was in Europe. 80,000.
Just generally across Europe.
80,000 people were slaughtered, and Germany was the worst one for it.
Yeah, I told when I was looking at the numbers for the whole kind of like for tried as a witch sort of thing, I was quite amazed because like over from the 1500s up until the 1700s, which was like not a long period of time. You know,
it's 100 years really.
It's quite a lot of people if you break it down to a few a year.
Yeah, fucking hell. Hell yeah. Well, with that rate, it'd be like about 5 a day or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like fucking hell. Yeah, and there was a weird witch story in Sweden. It's called the Swedish witch hunt.
Right.
And basically, in 1669 in Sweden, there was a group had come into town and taken over 100 kids and took them back to their church.
Right.
Now, when they took them back to the church, they were doing all this fucking witchcraft and, like, you know, there's a dragon that will, if they go back and tell anyone what's been going on, they'd be like the dragon will come and kill them and do all this kind of shit. And it ended up that the parents were getting that worried about him, the kids, that they were sending them out of the country.
Really?
Yeah, because the kids
were just, like evacuating them.
Yeah, getting them out
because they were just like freaking out about a dragon.
Yeah.
So was it the witch was controlling the dragon?
No, the dragon was supposed to be like Lucifer.
Oh right, okay.
So, the dragon will come and kill it. Yeah, whatnot, you know what I mean. So he was called the what was it called? Blackula.
Blackula?
That's where they got took at the church that they...
Not Count Blackula?
No, because it was in Sweden.
Oh, right, okay.
Switzerland. But yeah, the area was called Blackula. And it was like, what the fuck, when I first heard that. But yeah, so the parents got a bit worried and was like sending them out. So they ended up having a meeting and, you know, going and seeing the head honcho.
Well, it's a sensible thing to do, really, isn't it?
So there was actually a hunt. A hunt went out for him. Got them all. They went to trial. All the adults were executed, but so were quite a lot of the kids.
Right.
Because they've been turned that much.
So when you say turned,
into
little demon devil bastards.
Yeah, basically little bastards.
Well, they say, do you know what? It was when I was watching something on the Donner Party. the cannibals
Kebab.
on the mountain, and when the kids were kind of like left to their own devices, they turned a bit kind of like wild demon children as well.
Yeah.
So it must be like a thing when like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they kind of all go a bit feral.
Well, yeah.
Potentially.
Well, yeah. Well, this is it. This is the time it is. Well, yeah, I've got some shout outs.
Yeah, go for it, man. I've got a fucking shit ton of shout outs this week. Yeah.
Well, I've got Jim and James.
Oh, the
McHales brothers. Yeah. You right, lads? Keep listening in. And pork pie.
Oh, big.
Pork pie.
Oh, yeah, pork pie.
Yeah.
From Desmond's.
Yeah, that's the fella.
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some actual shout outs.
Yeah,
I've got I've got quite a few shout outs. Got a shout out from Rick Murray.
Oh, Rick Murray.
Yeah, he sent us a tweet
not
this week.
Not connected to Al Murray, is he?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Rick sent us a tweet this week, said he really enjoyed the Paul McCartney episode.
Hey, thanks,
and he
man.
recommended a couple of books. I don't know if you know, Paul McCartney episode was our first episode, and it's about the conspiracy about him being dead and replaced.
Is it him or is
by
it
a
not?
doppelganger?
Yeah, it was a really good,
it's a good
show actually.
Good show for the first show.
Yeah, it
bit
was.
raw, but we're getting
better. Yeah.
The book he's recommended is Bill's Back, and he says this is one conspiracy that you can really grab you and you can get really obsessed with. And he warns us to be careful.
Right.
In case we
thanks
decide
for the warning,
to
man.
delve deeper into it.
Yeah.
We've got, I want to give a shout out to Swoosh again this week, because Swoosh gets a shout out every week because he always
like
comes
a
up with
super
good,
fan, man.
He's like comes up with good comments, and he always has good things to say.
He does. You know what? I'm gonna go into work Monday. I'm gonna give him a big fat snog.
He said, always look forward to the show and our debates, and to keep it up.
Yeah, we will, son.
I want to give a shout out to Ghost Peter.
Ghost Peter.
Yeah, he shared a story with me.
Yeah.
About the Staffordshire Imp. Right.
Yeah, I was going to actually say about this. I'm pretty interested in this.
I'm really interested as well.
We're going to have to do a show on this. It's a good idea.
So he says he really believes it and he thinks it's real.
Right. Well, we're going to try and
he's
find
got
out.
2 photos there of an actual fairy / imp in Staffordshire.
Did he take it himself?
He claims it's the only photograph of not Ghost Peter, the guy who's who's put the website up.
Yeah,
but they claim that it's the only photo of a real fairy, right?
Yeah, but we've had that one from Ireland for many, many years, and it ended up being cardboard.
He also tweeted and said he really enjoyed the Enfield Hauntings episode.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah,
it was a good episode.
I enjoyed listening to that one as well.
Paul sent me a link to a documentary as well this week that you should check out on YouTube. It's called The History of Halloween.
Oh, right.
It's been popping up on my feed, right, and YouTube for a couple of days, and I've been thinking I'm gonna mean to watch that, and then all of a sudden I got a text message through saying, "Oh, you want to watch this? It's really good, it's dead interesting," and I was like, "Do you know what? I was about to watch it." So, spooky coincidence.
Did you end up watching it?
No, I've not watched it yet.
No,
but I wanted to give him a shout out because
thank you for
he took the time to send us the suggestion, and we will get onto it.
We appreciate it.
And I've got 2 podcasts of the week this week.
Oh, sweet.
Because this is it. Everyone's reaching out.
Yeah.
And I like a bit of reach out and a reach around.
Yeah,
it's like so.
It's nice and warm.
First podcast for the podcast of the week. First one is Soul Wizard.
Soul Wizard.
Yeah, they're 3
guys.
friends who discuss the world of nerd, comics, and geek stuff. Podcast.
See?
They're
into Marvel and
DC, all that sort of stuff.
Wow, good one, boys.
Yeah, and we've also got Bizarre Podcast.
Bizarre. Let me guess, bizarre stuff.
Yeah, they do kind of bizarre stuff like we kind of do, I think.
Yeah, sweet.
I think they're up to about episode 4, so just thought I'd show them some love.
Boys. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and
keep it going. Keep it going.
And all just basically the usual end of show stuff where we basically, and I've got to thank you if you do stay to the end, because a few people drop off, I think, towards the end.
Yeah.
So well done for staying around to the end, and if you want to get in touch, you can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. You can get us on Twitter at NASA_never, and that seems to be where most people reach out and have a chat with us. But we're on Instagram now, and we've been putting up a few posts at Never Straight Answer, if you want to find us there.
Yeah.
We're on all the platforms. We're on iTunes, we're on Google Podcasts, Anchor FM.
Tell your friends, man.
TuneIn Radio, we're on Pod Everything.
We're everywhere at the minute.
Poo.
Really, we are everywhere,
Peas
and
in a
we're
pod.
loving it. We're loving all the fans, we're loving all the
Poddington
comments.
Peas and carrots. We go together
Don't
like
forget the
peas and
Swede.
carrots, Swedes as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
all
don't
the
forget
all the
Swede.
nationalities, broccoli people,
Yeah,
whatever you want,
yeah.
sprouts.
No onions, no.
We're on
no
them all.
onions. We're not having no onions.
We do.
Don't like no pickle.
We come in bags of frozen.
We do, no,
Oh,
we're fresh. We're fresh. We're no frozen thrown in the side. So
yeah, if you want,
processed crap.
you
Yeah,
can listen.
don't fuck that
You
shit,
can
we're
listen
pure,
to
man.
us on a fucking Mars bar if you want.
Yeah,
Where you
well,
could probably
if you
get us.
wanna.
And what else is there? Your
What
merch,
else then?
if you want to get some merch.
Yeah,
I've got
we've got
this.
some
Hang on.
merch. Yeah, we've got the cup.
I've got my mug.
Yeah.
Yeah, came, and I've got to say it's actually really nice quality.
Yeah, I
you
do
want to
like
get
it.
yourself one?
Yeah.
You
It's a
can
nice
go
one.
to our Dizzy Jam page at Never
Yeah.
Straight Answer. That's our shop. Trying to think, is there anything else?
Like to thank our guests.
Oh yeah, thanks
Jay
for
and,
Jay and Mike.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having us.
Jay's just waking
Yeah.
up.
Jay's always here throughout the. our casts,
Mikey,
man.
cheers for coming down again and
Yeah, and happy
giving us your
birthday
input.
again, mate,
Thanks
for
for your
the
time.
other day. Yeah,
And,
old bastard.
Yeah, I think as well, last thing, I think we want to get, like, if any other podcasters want to kind of come on our show or we can go on their show.
We
That'd
could
be
have a
interesting.
discussion on how they see things to what we see things.
Yeah.
And,
Totally. Or
Yeah.
play a game.
yeah.
We could have a game of
PUBG.
Scrabble or PUBG.
Yeah, or
Never
poker.
Straight Answer
Oh,
versus.
who knows whose
No straight
podcast the
poker
best?
again, you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
What's that?
Who knows whose podcast
So
the
that
best?
really means we've got to listen to all their
yeah.
podcasts
Yeah,
to get the
that's
answers.
Questions to the
That's a good call.
That's a good one, that, actually.
that's
Yeah,
a very
maybe
good
that's
call. Yeah.
something we'd
I think
look
we
into
could
in the
have a look
future.
at. Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this witchy
Yeah.
episode of
We've enjoyed doing
A Never Straight Answer, and it's been kind of the second part of our Halloween extravaganza.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's been basically it. It's been a bit of a long one, so I hope thanks for sticking to the end.
Yeah.
But I won't hold you up any longer. I know you got stuff to do.
Yeah.
So you know.
but just keep tuning in because we've got bigger and better stuff coming up.
All
And
day.
we're getting larger and larger thanks to you, listeners.
So
And
yeah.
pass the word and we'll get bigger and better.
Yeah.
That's all we can really do for them.
Well said, Taylor. You can't really say much more
That's
than that,
it.
can you?
Right.
Right. Well,
I'm a charm.
I'm Gaz,
I'm Taylor.
And Mike.
and everyone
Jay's
else.
just
and
waking
Jay.
up again.
And
He just fell
we'll
asleep
catch
again.
you on the next episode of Never a Straight Answer. And I think we're going to go a bit more sci-fi in the next one. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna. Halloween's nearly finished, isn't it? So,
Yeah, I think the Halloween thing's gonna be
spooky.
over after the extra.
I like the spooky episodes, paranormal, but they're sometimes a bit more. Do you know what? It's funny when you believe the more kind of alien conspiracy theories over paranormal stuff that supposedly happened.
But the
And
thing
it's been
on that
documented.
because
And there's
it's-
actual evidence.
but there's more evidence on UFOs than there is on ghosts.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
all
you can't-
hearsay, really.
Yeah,
isn't it?
basically pictures can be changed to swap,
Pictures
but
can be doctored.
the old pictures can't, and history can't from like seeing stuff like how many stories. Yeah, you hear ghost stories, but when did ghost stories actually start?
Yeah.
We haven't got delved into the history of our
I've set him off
ghost
again.
stories, and that you haven't set me off. I better hold on.
I know,
Bloody hell,
we
is
best
that
get off.
70? Oh,
Right.
yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
save that
9
one
people.
we might be back for the extra anyway,
Yeah.
so you can carry on there. Right,
Anyway,
anyway.
I'm till like 4 o'clock in the morning
I
again.
know,
You
well,
keep me
it's
up all
worth
night.
it.
You do.
It's
You
worth
fuck
it
off.
worth it for the fans.
It
so.
is. It is
Right.
definitely.
And on that note, that's it for us, and we'll see you in the next one. Take
Cha-cha.
care. Peace.
Out.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.